What's up, guys? It's Cooper Webb, and you're listening to the MotoXpod.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Aaron Plessinger, and you guys are listening to the MotoXpod.
Welcome back to the MotoXpod, presented by Yamaha, Motor USA, and Race Tech. This is episode 387. Great guest lineup with Honda HRC, presented by Progressives, Joe Shimoda, Red Bull KTM, Factory Racing, team manager Ian Harrison. By the way, that's going to be a pre-record. We'll get into that in a minute. And owner of the Metal, or founder of the Metal Hall of Fame, Pat Gesualdo. The Metal Hall of Fame has been pretty heavily involved with Feld and Supercross for the last few years. Pat's become a big fan of the sport. So, yeah, he wanted to come on and talk a little bit about Supercross and some music. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. Once again, presented by Yamaha and Race Tech. Before we get into the reads and the intro of the show, in studio, ever reliable, only one here tonight with me, Scotty Thompson. What's up, man?
Oh, by myself. Yeah.
Scotty Pod in full effect.
Yeah, I'm running the whole thing.
How's that
now.
guest lineup, man? Did you get that?
Yeah. We got Joe Shimoda tonight. Worked really hard on that one.
That?
Well, I did talk to him this weekend when only one of us was able to.
Is that when you booked him?
When we got press day interviews, when only one of us was able to do that because only one of us was reliable and
my
ready.
Batteries took a crap.
Yeah, because only one of us was prepared.
Maybe that was planned to see how you did.
Well, I shined bright as always.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Yeah. No, man, it went well. Like I feel like those interviews were better than they were in Houston, and it's like repetitions. Yeah. Hopefully, I'll get to go to another one. It's still kind of up in the air right now if I am or not, but I'd like to do more. That was fun. It was a good weekend.
Absolutely. MotoXpod show, as said, presented by Yamaha Motor USA and at Yamaha Motor USA. We don't just build motorcycles, we engineer legends. From championship podiums to off-road trails, the YZ platform has defined dirt bike excellence for generations. Whether it's the dominance of the YZ 450F, the YZ 250F, which won Arlington in the 250 class, Pierce Brown, or the beloved YZ 250 two-stroke, every YZ is built for riders who push harder, ride faster, and demand the best. So unleash victory and ride Yamaha. YamahaMotorsports.com to see all that they have to offer. Or just go to your local Yamaha dealership and check them out. Street, dirt, boats, motors, pianos. I don't know, man. That's not all Yamaha Motor USA, but Yamaha Motorsports. But it is Yamaha, and they kick butt.
I'm sure it's like one of those things that everybody knows, but the Yamaha logo is piano tuning forks.
Yes, it is.
Yep. That's kind of cool.
I think it's just a tuning fork in general. I don't know if it's just for piano, is it?
Yeah. I mean, maybe just tuning forks.
Yeah, I think it, like anything could be tuned with it, I guess, but I don't really know how they work.
Yeah,
so what the hell do I know?
Fair enough.
What the hell do I know?
I guess I just associate pianos because Yamaha's like as great as a 450 is, a Yamaha piano is like top of the line. Well, I mean, not top of the line.
That could be our ETS pick one.
Yeah. What's your favorite Yamaha?
Would you take a Yamaha 450 or a Yamaha piano?
The piano, like if you got like one of their full grand pianos, it's probably more expensive than a 450.
I would imagine.
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
take the piano and sell it for a 450 and 250.
Here you go. Get a combo. And
I can't play piano.
You could even get a Yamaha side-by-side to pull your dirt bikes or to unload your piano.
Very true. Very true. Also, Renthal on board. Don't forget that their casual offerings are available at renthal.com. T-shirts, hoodies, toboggans, beanies, whatever you want to call them. And then the new, if you're a mountain bike guy, the Revo DHC and Revo TRC clipless pedals are here. SPD compatible. All new Revo TRC is lightweight, medium-sized body clip pedal, aimed squarely at trail and enduro. And the 661 bar is currently sold out. That's the Eli Tomac bend. The Kiefer developed bend is sold out right now, but keep your eyes open. It will be back. Hunter Lawrence getting his very first Supercross 450 win using Renthal handlebars. Congratulations to Hunter.
He knew that we needed to be in attendance
You think?
He saved it for Texas, the best crowd and the best race of the year.
Maybe it was my interview on Friday.
I did say that,
where I asked him, "What if you won this title without winning?" And he was like, "Yeah, that would kind of be crappy."
Well, now if he does win the title, that will not be the story.
No, it will not be.
Your interview is old news.
Yeah. We've got Joe coming up in about 10 minutes. I want to get to a few things. Now, in our preseason predictions, I called for 5 winners. We're there. So, yeah. So nobody else can win. TJ called for 4, so he's out.
What did I say? 7?
You said 7.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, but we also named our riders. So let's see here. Like I'm on. I got Chase, Webb, Eli, Hunter, Ken. I'm done.
Yeah. You might be okay. Honestly.
Yeah, you said you had J. Coop and AP, Malcolm Stewart. You just kind of had all kinds of possibilities, and then Chase said 6.
I cheated, like usual.
Yeah. So, but anyway, as of right now, I am the winner.
Hey, so I need a mutter for AP,
which we might get this weekend.
And
there's rain in the forecast.
And if Mookie keeps getting as good as he looked in that heat race and parts of that main event and gets a start, might be on one there too, because Mookie was fast.
Yeah, he was. And a lot of guys were fast until they hit the whoops and hit the deck. Yeah, those whoops were kicking people's butt. How cool! That was a long set of whoops.
Finally, it was a whole straightaway. Yeah, like basically
almost. That was pretty awesome to have that. It was very challenging. Kind of funny that they put it in their first round for East. Those guys were like, "Okay, thanks a lot."
Yeah, especially like the guys fighting for LCQs and night shows and stuff. Yeah, it was tough.
As far as the red light, red cross situation, it's been talked about a lot. There is a Bring the Heat from a listener that touches on that. So maybe we'll talk about it a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if you guys, it's been talked about a lot. So we'll see how much we get to. But not only did Hunter win in a very cool way, and I want to talk about that 450 main event, but Pierce Brown got his first win.
Mm-hmm.
Another recent MotoXpod alum.
Yeah. We're just starting people's, or not starting people's, but just excelling people's careers. Yes.
So when we were walking to the post-race rider scrum, Pierce was there in the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I walked by and fist bumped him, and he's like, "Yeah, you're the only one that believed."
Yeah.
Like, remember that.
Man,
it's not really true, but
he was radiating after that race. He was feeling it. Like, I think it's like one of those, I think if you asked him, it's like one of those expected but not expected kind of situations.
Uh-huh.
Like, he obviously expects himself to win. That's what he's paid for. That's why he's there. But he I don't think he expected to get maybe this first one coming back from what he has.
Yeah.
It sounds like Bobby was pretty giving him some tough love for the main event too.
I think that's what Bobby does all the time.
Yeah, this is
what he does. But the track itself, we talked about the whoops, the rhythm section, so many options. Like, how do we make that happen every week? Maybe it's the floor size a little bit, but there were just so many different options. Both those long rhythms kind of had at least 2, maybe 3 even options, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the on-off, inside roll, mm-hmm. jump on top, all the way over, or outside on. And then the other rhythm, like, 3-3-4 to 3-3 or whatever it was. Like, there was multiple different options, which really made for great racing. And then 180s. The 180s were awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and the dirt and the way the track broke down just made it to where, like, you can't make a mistake. I'm not going to lie, though. When we got there on press day and they were running that rhythm section that had the 2 tables, the
mm-hmm.
on, I was like, well, that's going to be just one line. Like,
you thought everybody's going to go outside no matter what?
Well, I just like, I was like, well, like, it's just going to be on, and then boom, and then that's going to be the race. And then, like, turns out that was where you could gain track position more than any other part on the track, pretty much.
Yeah, I didn't think the inside table over table was going to work because it threw you so high.
Yeah.
But then you were able to stay low on that next triple and gain a lot of that time back. So it really was, I wouldn't say it was equal, but I don't have obviously the dartfish, but we saw passes on both sides of that lane depending on how guys hit it.
I think if you were going to take, like you said, we need maybe other tracks to have stuff like this, to replicate what that brought, like do stuff where one side, one rhythm or one way to go through it, option, that's the word I was looking for, is faster in the beginning, like that table was, and then slower at the end, and then the other one was slower at the beginning and faster at the end. Like, keep doing that, because that was great. Because, like, the way it brings in the racing and stuff, I mean, the as close as Kenny and Hunter got, and Coop, and all of them got in that section was insane. That's where we saw passes. In the heat race, that's where Mookie was making moves, where Savachi made moves on Eli. It was all in that rhythm section. So, definitely that kind of option. Do more. Yes, please.
You might even be able to say that the worst section was the 290s with the double, where Hunter made the pass or attempted pass at first on Kenny because they're 90s and it's kind of one line, but he still, the way he rolled into that on that particular lap and doubled and I don't think Kenny got the double clean, as I recall. Yeah. Like that section still even did lead to some really cool moments just because of how much they trusted each other and how talented that top four is. That top four was very, very impressive in the main event. Very impressive. Just some of the best racing we've seen this year.
Well, in my article that posted today on MotoXpod.com, I scheduled it to.
It was in a draft for tomorrow. That's why I put the other two up. That's why I put TJ's. And
it's supposed to be for tomorrow?
That's how you had it scheduled.
I thought I scheduled it for today. Oh, well. Yeah. I meant for it to go out today. Anyways, my article that's coming out tomorrow, stay tuned to MotoXpod.com. I talked about how now that we're, essentially halfway through the championship, and, as they say, we're going to Daytona next weekend where the championship starts. The top four in points found themselves top four in that race. And it's seemingly the cream rising to the top. Yeah. And, I mean, the gap they put on the rest of the field was impressive. The way they were all locked in that battle, in that main event was, I mean, I'm not going to lie, like, I didn't watch anything else. Like, the entire race. I might have checked to see, like, where Chase or, like, Mookie was a few times. But it was pretty hard not to just watch what those four guys were doing. Yeah. And they're in the championship, so that's kind of what they have to do. I hope that continues, and I hope that keeps going. Everybody has a case. Everybody had a case for what that they could have won that night. Kenny was leading like he normally does. If he hasn't been sick, maybe he extends a gap a little bit. Hunter obviously won the race. Eli gets a better start. Maybe he wins that race. Coop doesn't make a mistake, doesn't get in that situation where he gets forced off the track from Eli. Maybe he wins the race. So they're all sitting there with like very possible ways to have won that race. And if you're watching a title fight, I mean, that's what you want. So yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff to be a moto fan. We throw
all that out the window because the series starts this coming weekend. So starts this weekend. Who knows what we're going to see. You mentioned MotoXpod.com. Also, TJ put a story up today. Actually, I put it up for TJ, but I need to change that. So TJ, and then we put up some of Chase's photos are up. 710 Productions. He went and shot his first Supercross. So there's a small gallery up on MotoXpod.com with some of the photos that he has ready to go, just for you guys to check out. They may be playing in the background at times tonight. Yep. Lots of cool stuff there. Also, don't forget Brunt Workwear. If you guys are looking for some boots or Brunt, even I think they have pants and things like that. Dark Side MX10 to save. So use that code. Let me get Joe on the phone, but we got a few other things. We'll get to some other things from the race at some point later this evening. But working on getting Joe on the phone. So our first guest of the night is on the line, and he's going to be brought to you tonight by Racetech. For over 40 years, Racetech has been supplying the motorcycle industry with high-quality suspension components made right here in the USA. From modern to vintage, Racetech is your go-to source for suspension performance. Racetech.com to find your local service center. Tonight, Racetech brings us from Honda HRC Progressive, Joe Shimoda. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for doing it, man. So, first round of the year done in Arlington. There's some positives and probably some negatives in your eye on the night. But at the end of the day, looking back, how do you feel about your performance?
I think, I spent very, very little amount of time on motorcycle.
Yep.
And I mean, performance wise, I just did best I could. And yeah, I mean, you guys tell me if I did good or not.
Well, you look like the Joe Shimoda we're used to. Very, very technical, very smooth, very few mistakes. And honestly, yeah. I feel like, and we'll touch on this a little bit, at the end of the day, I feel like the AMA made the mistake that cost you the race. So your performance, I think, was 100% on par. It's great.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good night though.
Yeah, it was, minus the issues with the red flag, red cross, whatever you want. But we'll ask about that in a minute. You just mentioned very little time on the bike. I think I heard 6 days. So I'm sure your expectations weren't very high. But did you feel pretty good in those 6 days? Did you feel like fitness wise? How did you feel?
I mean, to be fighting for like wins. I thought I was not ready enough. Mm-hmm. But we needed to work on the motorcycles as well. Like I was kind of behind on everything. So like, the confidence really wasn't there, but I know, I kind of know myself. Like, I don't know why, for whatever the reason, when the race comes on, all of my adrenaline kicks in and it turns out to be okay every time. So that's kind of how I felt that day.
Well, that worked out. Yeah, it worked out in your favor. We did just kind of mention the lack of time on the bike, but how about off the bike training since the back injury? Has that been more difficult to get through, or are you at a point where you feel like you're back to your normal self?
Honestly, okay, there's two things, right? Like the cardiovascular side, I was a little bit behind because there's some restriction on my neck. So like no running or no bicycling outside for at least a 6 to 8 week. And so I was basically just doing, I don't know, a little bit of stationary and stuff here and there. But I was okay to do gym after like 6 weeks. If there's no pain, I was able to do a lot of stuff. So actually fitness wise, yeah, like I think my muscles gotten stronger, but not the cardio side.
Okay, fair. Scotty?
Joe, it was said by many riders that this was the most technical track that they've seen this year. Obviously, the first one for y'all, and it's probably one of the most technical tracks that you guys have the year so far. What was that like? You're trying to ease back into this, and then it's this beast of a track. I noticed that you weren't really doing the quad line that a lot of the riders were towards the end of the race. Just how did that track affect you coming back from the injury?
Yeah, like to your point, like I was just honestly not comfortable doing the jumps. Just rusty feel, I mean, I was a little bit off on my motorcycle setup and stuff. Just needed to like catch up on like a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And I was just not comfortable doing it. Even like blitzing whoops, didn't feel the comfort, and I crashed on the whoops too. So it's like, we're trying to build back some like confidence. So yeah, like I said, just during the qualify, I was just trying to get a little more laps in, feel it out, like just feel everything out. And then by the time like the main and heat comes around, it's my job to perform out there. So till then, yeah, just kind of trying to get the race routine back, to be honest.
Coming into the series, how close did you feel the bike was? And now that we're done with round one, do you still feel it's as good as it was coming in, or do you feel like you have a lot of work to do?
For the second round coming up, actually, we made a lot of progress. We just made a lot of progress during the day too, on the race day. Mm-hmm. Got closer and closer to where I wanted. And now that we have a little bit of time, team's been sending me some like new fork and shocks to try, and I'm moving forward for sure.
Where do you feel? I don't want to say it's falling short, but is it, what specifically are you looking for?
On suspension?
Yes, sir.
Or like bike?
Yeah. With the suspension and the different things you're testing.
Well, just like looking back at the Arlington, the places that where I cannot push, we're trying to like update that. Like my start's been good. Like rhythm section, the normal rhythm section at the end of the day, I was doing it fine. Just the places where I want to push a little further. Something if team can help me with, we try to work on it.
Yeah, you just mentioned your starts were good. I think you did, 2 heat race starts because of the red flag and the main event. And I believe, I don't know if you were credited with the whole shot in all of them, but you were certainly top 2. So starts are on point.
Actually, from the practice starts, it was all whole shots for me. So,
that's right, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my starts end of the year last year was really good. We didn't really change a thing, so I kind of just had to do the same thing, and then it's been working, so no change there.
Awesome.
Joe, during the post race interviews, we had your team manager Lars was the guy that we got to interview at the end of the evening, and he showed clear being proud of you for the performance that you've done, the fact that you had little time, and he was just pretty amazed at what you were capable of doing. He also was ready to go run through a brick wall for you for the red flag incident or the light incident.
Yeah.
What's it like working with Lars and having him on your side and what your relationship with him is like?
No, I think it's good. Team. Actually, not just Lars, like the whole team is just have this good vibe, and everyone has everyone just wants to win. And with Lars, it's because I have sometimes I'll have like a communication issue because this is from a different country. Sometimes there's a misunderstanding and stuff, but Lars is like one of the guys who's like really look into and makes things easier for me, and it's a lot of help for him to be there.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and he fights for his riders. So I think he's become an incredible team manager.
Yeah, of course.
I would definitely not have wanted to be in the AMA truck after the race with him coming.
Yeah, I saw him when we were before the team manager scrum, and I went to fist bump him, right? Because Hunter won, Joe got second, and he was not happy, and it didn't really click yet that all that was going on. I didn't even know about the 450 issue yet.
I didn't either, no.
So I was like, why is he kind of so pissed off? And then I found out later, it was a bad time to say what's up. But Joe, so with Daytona coming up this week, do you change your prep because the track, honestly, Daytona is not what it used to be when I was younger. It's not as outdoorsy, but do you change up a lot of how you prepare for a race for this particular race?
No, this week I actually rode 2 days this week. We just did normal Supercross, and nothing has been changed on my program.
Okay, how big is Daytona to you? That's a monumental win for a lot of people. If you get that Daytona win, obviously more so in the 450 class, but it is legendary.
It'll be cool to win there, but I don't know. To me, I just take this every race. I treat the race the same every race, Yeah. So, to me, it's a win in Anaheim or win in Arlington. It's the same happiness and it's the same thing for me.
Okay. Joe Shimoda tonight brought to you by Race Tech. Let's talk about the red flag thing or the red light, red cross thing for just a minute. Obviously, with you in your situation, you did what you thought was right. You may have already been asked this. Do you remember them talking about the lead-in lights, that those red lights did not mean don't roll? You have to now look for the red cross?
I don't know. I don't think it's in the rule book, is it? It's
not, no.
Well, it's very confusing. I never heard of a red leading light. I thought maybe, red light and cross flags are for there to the riders to roll every obstacles, no matter if it's a tabletop or double, triple, etc. You can't just jump anything. It's dangerous,
Yeah, I agree. I think it is very confusing, and then hopefully they will get that fixed. Yeah, it's going to be interesting what comes of this, because I do believe they made a mistake in just how they handled it. It doesn't sound like there was a formal way they let everybody know about this new situation with red lights. But yeah, you're right. If it's a red light, in my mind, that means there's a problem. You need to shut it down. So it's very unfortunate, but it's been talked about so much already.
Yeah, and I think everyone needs to really understand. Like, honestly, I was like, after the race, I was kind of mad that like it was a very confusing situation. I got past there. I had a 3-second gap, and I got past, and had to work for it again. Unfortunately, it couldn't, make me pass. But honestly, like after I seen more and more about the critiques and like just controversy with people and like the teams and AMA, it's like it gets more confusing as more I'm looking to it. So I think, to me, like the race win, Pierce can have it. Like, I have 9 rounds to figure it out, and 9 rounds to get it back, that's fine. But I think for everyone's safety, I think, well, now it seems like the first red light is a jump, like you can jump the jump,
Yeah, that's basically
that's how I understand.
The understanding that I have is the same, that the red light is telling you there may be a red cross flag in front of you. Look up for that. But yeah, that's a lot for somebody like a racer like yourself to have to process. Oh, what does that light mean? Oh, now I got to look for this. Yeah, all while you're trying to do these obstacles that are very, very dangerous. So yeah, they've got to simplify it.
Yeah, like the rule books just says cross flag and red lights are there to just roll the jump, basically. And I think that's easy and simple. But I mean, there's actually other things too, like the remote. What I got told after the race was the remote was not working and stuff. So I'm like, that's another, we can't even, like, where do we start at this point? Like,
yeah, that light should have been off, because it happened from Derek Kelly, which was probably at least 30 seconds, 45 seconds before you got there. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but it was a long time. So yeah, that was definitely a mistake. What did you have, Scotty?
I was going to say, obviously, with the way the scenario went down, you guys feel that you should get some compensation and points for stuff like that. If you were the roles had been reversed and you had been in second and gotten the lead from it, how would you feel about how the penalties were not assessed, essentially?
Yeah, like, to me, like, just reading the rule book, like, just I'm fair. I think it's fair to say, like, yeah, I will take the win, but the guy or I should say whoever I pass for first should get equal amount of points.
Yeah, that's actually not bad. They could have given you first place points also, maybe. Yeah,
like I don't really. It's not the money or like the penalties and stuff that I want to, like, mess around with other riders. I think let's just try to make a fair deal, like a medium, like, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, because at the end of the season, if you were to lose the title by a couple points because the AMA screwed up, that's a big issue.
Yeah, and then did the red light thing was working for 450 main, or?
Yes, it was on for, I believe it was on for Eli, Kenny, and Coop, and the flag was out, I think, and they still jumped it. I believe that's the case, yes.
Yeah, I mean, 450 ones are like way more confusing than in my case. So.
I agree.
Yeah.
Joe, a few more things for you. Let's see here. I want to talk about the pass with about 3 to go, or the pass attempt on Pierce with about 3 to go before the table. You cut across the rut and it seems like you thought about throwing a block pass and changed your mind maybe. Would you have done that differently if you could do it over?
I would say yeah, but also like people, it's so hard for people to see, like, the Arlington dirt is pretty slick And I try to like go in the middle there, like going off the main route, and then try to like brake and make the rear to slide into him, but like the front was kind of like not gripping it for me. So I was like trying to just stop,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Otherwise,
I kind of thought that.
Kind of T-boned him.
Yeah, I think if you had connected with him, Daxton might have got both of you.
Yeah, like my plan was to just try to like either give him a little love tap or to show him a wheel, to where like he doesn't get on top of the tabletop. And I mean, once we roll the first jump, then like I'm on the inside, so I would 100% take it for the next corner,
There you go.
But
I like it.
It was just the entry was so awkward that I was not expecting like that slippery. So I don't know. It was just bad decision.
Okay.
Or bad reading on the dirt.
Well, yeah, I appreciate the honesty.
Hey, Joe, in the press day interviews that I did with you, you mentioned the nice reset that you had, being able to go to Japan and spend some time. Obviously, it was because you were injured, but still, the reset that you were able to get was nice. And I'm just curious to I'm wondering if your parents and stuff get to go to a lot of the races. How much of your family and friends get to see you week in and week out at the races?
So my family right now, my mom and my sister is in U.S. We actually live in different states, but we're together here. Everybody else is back in Japan, right? So my mom would come to the race every weekend, that's really helping me out with anything really. And it's for me, yeah, like my dad has to fly over for the race, or my grandparents are gonna have to fly over for the race. It's a lot for them, but for sure having them here, and especially when I do good, yeah, of course, to be able to share the emotions and the race wins. I think that's probably the reason why I race for sure.
Yeah, that's really nice. Joe, I got a couple more and then a couple listener questions. We'll let you go. What do you feel has been your biggest lessons learned since your rookie year in 19?
Oh, well,
that makes you think about it.
Well, it's like it's just talking like English. Like it's literally the English for me. Like it's just changing a lot every year. Like more I can talk better, more I can express myself, explain better, like all these things. Especially nowadays, the racers being so close on the levels. The communication is just has to be there for me.
Yeah, you've actually told us that a few times, that how important that was, and I think we've told you, like we've been interviewing you since your rookie season, and it was kind of difficult.
It's way better. Yeah, it's so much better.
Yeah, and you didn't even seem like you really liked doing interviews at first because it was probably uncomfortable, and you do a great job now. So props to you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, where do you have the most room for improvement in your writing? What do you think you need to work on the most?
I think you're always just trying to achieve some new level, right? But maybe maybe the line choices. I think some people do a lot better than me on choosing lines. I catch up on these things a little bit later in the moto, I'd say. Or maybe the lines I'm taking, I thought it was good, but then we review it back and it was terrible, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one to work on. I like it. All right, a couple listener questions. We're going to let you go here. This is from our Instagram account. Cleary Welds would like to know, what is something someone should do in Japan if they're going for a vacation?
Vacation? Oh, I don't know. It depends on what you like to do, right?
Yeah.
If you're skiing, then there's a lot of good ski places in Japan. Japan is known for, a lot of, like Charlene tempo runs, go all these traditional places. I mean, even like nightlife, there's a lot of nightlife there, kind of everything. It depends on what you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I spent about 2 hours in the Tokyo airport one time. That was my only time. I was on my way to Singapore. That's all I've ever seen of it, was inside the airport. All right, last one.
Yeah.
Last one here. This is from 81 Humphreys. He says, Joe, what's your favorite American food you've had since moving to the United States?
Favorite.
Yeah, favorite American food.
It's funny because I was just talking about it today. Like if I say there's a favorite, like a junk food restaurant,
okay,
or joints, I would say maybe, it's gonna have to be like Raising Cane's.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like I was literally just talking about it today. Like, what's my like a favorite like junk foods?
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be Raising Cane's for me.
The sauce is good.
that's what I hear.
The sauce is elite.
I mean, that's pretty much the only reason you go. Like the chicken and everything is just okay, but the sauce.
The sauce is elite.
Real quick, how bad is our sushi here, Joe? Like compared to Japanese
How bad
sushi?
is this?
Because I love sushi, but I don't think I've probably ever had
Good sushi.
truly good sushi.
I mean, good places are always good. I mean, but like the rolls are the things here, right? Like in Japan, it's just fish and rice.
Yeah.
There's no rolls there. So, but I mean, the sushis here are it's pretty Americanized, but I kind of enjoy it,
Okay, so there you go, Scotty.
Dark Side won't eat it, Joe. He's picky.
I don't like. Well, I don't.
He
like
doesn't like
raw.
real. He
I'm
doesn't
not
like
eating
real
raw
food.
fish. That's for sure.
It's different, but I don't mind it. I like it, to be honest.
Some of the ones with the raw fish just on top of the rice, that's some of my favorite ones.
Joe, I do kind of eat like a 5-year-old. Like I like chicken nuggets plain. Like I'm a picky eater, so I'm definitely not the person you want to go exploring food with.
Don't go to Japan because you'd be you'd be in trouble.
McDonald's.
Yeah, they'd probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of varieties in Japan for sure.
One of our Discord listeners, Soul505, he gave you a shout out though. He just wanted to say, hey, well done on an absolutely incredible ride Saturday night. And we're also glad you're back at 100%, which you're not 100% yet. So wait till you get to be 100%. It's going to be awesome. Joe, thank you for your time tonight, man. Thank you.
No, of course. Anytime. Thank you.
All right. Good luck this weekend in Daytona, buddy.
Thank you. See you guys there.
Yeah. That is Joe Shimoda tonight, brought to you by Race Tech. Fun interview. Yeah, his English has improved so much.
Oh yeah.
Why were you?
Someone said that you drink chocolate milk out of a sippy cup.
I got my sippy cup right here. No, well, yeah. I would. Sure, why not? Funny guy. Oh. Okay, so I forgot to mention, we got on the screen here, the MX Simulator Pro Supercross. This is last week's race. So don't miss the MX Simulator Pro Supercross live on Start Your Systems tonight at 6:30 Pacific. Watch top players in the game go head-to-head as Braden Carter, Seth Carr, and more take on defending champion Colby Eaglin. Live racing, real battles, and intense championship competition. Tune in to Start Your Systems on YouTube to watch once the MotoXpod is over. Yeah, we're watching it in the background. We have the Arlington race on. The Daytona race will be live in about, I guess, an hour and a half, but you're going to wait till this show is over. So, yeah, good stuff. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
That was the first time I really seen Kellen for a longer time, and he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the press box banter is always top notch as usual.
Yeah, it was. It felt a little off to me Saturday night. Like it was. I thought it was kind of quiet.
There was moments.
Okay.
It was a little quiet. I think it was because, like when we were in Houston, it was pretty much just me, you, Steven, Lewis, with like the people that come in and say what's up periodically. But the only people that were there for the most of the day were us, plus the NBC guy and
the NBC guy,
NBC sports guy, Dan.
Oh, Dan, yeah.
And then Adam from Track Talkers, 7 Deuce Deuce, he came in. But there was a lot more people in Arlington like sitting up there and like on the area. So maybe that's kind of what subdued it a little bit.
When it's just Steve and Lewis and like 3 is a really good number where you have really tight conversations.
Yeah.
But once you start getting another one, then yeah, it gets spread out. But it's still good times. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about this thing. I do want to mention Ian Harrison. I had to pre-record that last night. He had something tonight. So we got a lot of Instagram and listener questions for Ian, and I wasn't able to get to them all. Mm-hmm. Really wasn't able to get to. I only had one at the time I recorded the interview. Mm-hmm. So I apologize to those of you that sent in questions, but it's really good. I was really very happy with the outcome of the Ian Harrison interview. Before we move on, I want to go back to Race Tech. As I've mentioned before, if you have a 24 through 26 Yamaha YZ250F, they have developed a high-performance air boot that improves the power of your motorcycle by 4%, which is more improvement than going from pump gas to race gas. With thousands of hours in development, it's best used in conjunction with Vortex ECU and matching fuel. But if you're trying to up the performance of your 24 through 26 YZ250F, the Racetech Air Boot is a really good way to do it. I have had it on the bike now for a couple weeks. I rode Monday. I did 2 motos with it on, and then I came in, I took it off, went back to the stock air box because I have a modified air box with the Racetech Air Boot. And honestly, I noticed a pretty significant difference in certain areas. So I will write something about that after this weekend. I'm going to do some more riding on it this weekend. But yeah, if you're looking to just make a simple improvement on horsepower and performance to your YZ250F, that is a really, really good opportunity, good way to go. Let's see. What else do we want to touch on before we do Brad, go ahead.
Do you eat just like an orange by itself?
I will. I don't love oranges. That goes back to texture.
Yeah.
Because it was the stringy stuff.
Yeah.
That's what
I love orange juice. I'm not really a big orange fan myself, but we went on the chat went down this rabbit hole of what I will and wouldn't eat. Someone said you eat oranges and something after the show. I was like, I doubt he'd eat oranges.
I will, but it's not like a go-to. I definitely remember as a kid when you got done playing soccer or whatever. I love the oranges. I think that's what
the joke was.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. So
something like that.
Okay, we should do maybe we could do a little contest thing or trivia would he or would he not eat that? You and maybe TJ we could have our listeners email a list, and then you and TJ
guess.
Make the list,
yes.
and then I'll give the answer. Something like that.
Yes, I am 100% down for that. That would be hilarious.
All right, we could do that. Yeah.
What was the other one that I think it was a pick one that I was talking about, and you and Chase were walking in the pits. It was a good one. It was a contest for movie quotes.
Oh, somebody says a movie quote and we have to figure out
where it's from. Yeah.
That would I would be a good even one. Movies I'd probably fail.
You think?
I'm just too slow. My mind would be dude, there's cobwebs holding those gears back. And if you said, you don't know the power of the dark side, I'm like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
But some other movies that are even my favorite movies, if you said them, I'd probably be my brain just freezes, man.
Hello, Clarice.
It's the Hannibal Lecter. What was that movie called? Yeah. See, I'm blanking.
Wow. Okay, that's if you didn't get that one.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, there you go.
It
took a second. It took a second.
The cobwebs had to break off that gear, and then they were.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the most common movie quotes of all time. So.
Sure. Let's see here. We've got a little bit before we get Pat on. We got to do X brand, but I want to ask you. I'll tell you what.
Ask me.
Any standouts? I don't want to use surprises, but just anybody that you're impressed by or unexpectedly impressed by in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, not 250 East, just the last couple of weeks?
Yeah. Because for me, Joey Savacci's the guy, right? That's on my list.
Yeah, that's
Joey has been
I'm so glad
impressive.
He's okay because he did a complete flying W in the whoops.
Yeah, and I got him in the post race, as did almost everybody because we're limited, and he seems okay. He's fine. But he's just riding so well, and I'm really, really happy for him.
I think based on the situations that he's had, the way Malcolm has performed, it's just top notch. He talked about that. I asked him a similar question to that in the press day interviews, and he had mentioned that this was the first week where he got to ride like more than once, or like actually like do a full pull up.
Right.
Like like he's just now getting to the point where he's doing the workouts the way he's supposed to, and so I would expect him to continue to ramp up and get to 100% here pretty soon. I think he said he felt like he was at like 85 or 90% of the injury being fully healed.
Okay.
So the fact that he's been able to ride to that's impressive.
Does anybody? Go ahead.
As far as this weekend in particular goes, I know everybody's talking about the 3 years, 3 podiums to start off Dax Bennick's career, but I feel like some of those other ones, he kind of just fell into that 3rd place spot. I mean, he could have easily have won this race. I think like he was right then there. The sheer speed that he was showing in that main event late in the race was impressive to me. I didn't really like. I think it would have been one thing if he, obviously there was a first turn crash. So if he'd got a first turn crash and kind of lost the toe to Joe and Pierce, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of what we've seen the opening round the last few years. But he was pressuring those guys the entire race, and he was there at the end. So I feel like that was a little bit more than I expected from him.
I'll give you that. I actually reached out to Daxton to come on the show this week, and he answered too late. Like and then I asked.
It's never too late.
It was too late. It was like last night, so I was already.
Well, that's not too late.
I was already building graphics and had 3 guests. So
yeah, fair enough.
But so we're gonna probably have him on next week after Daytona. Let's hope he follows up with another podium. That'd be great. But yeah, he did look good. He was very impressive. And then Cole Davies, man, we all knew he was gonna be good, but God, he was good in the whoops.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Him and Pierce both just destroying those whoops.
That's been the talk of the town is how fast Cole Davies looked, but I mean, Pierce wasn't even doing some of the rhythm sections that were faster, and he was still throwing down faster lap times than him.
I know. Yeah.
So like
Cole looks faster for some reason.
But I mean, but looking faster doesn't necessarily mean faster.
No, but he's good. I mean, listen, coming from the first turn pileup to 5th.
Well, he kind of put himself in that situation in that first turn pileup.
Everybody keeps saying that, and I rewatched it, and I was like, to me, it just looked like him and Seth connected bars, and then it was.
Yeah, I think
then
you don't think he forced the issue at all.
Maybe, but not as drastically as I feel like the review shows were saying.
He could have tucked in and probably started like 7th and probably could have still won the race.
I feel like right about the time where he needed to start braking, him and Seth connected bars.
And he just couldn't get to it?
That's kind of what it looked like to me.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, good stuff. Let's do the X brand tear-offs. You're doing X brand
X brand emails. We're not.
We
have our own segment. Tear-offs. Yeah, I know.
Well, no, we're gonna do Steve's segment tonight. Yep. I do that almost every time.
Yeah, you do. I mean, like you've been. I mean, it's kind of cemented.
X brand family.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do the reading? You're doing the reading.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
I was not ready.
It's all good. I said the wrong segment, so who cares? It's a loose program tonight.
With X brand, you get to see clear and ride fearless with EKS brand goggles. Vision is your advantage. Engineered for clarity, comfort, and durability, EKS goggles keeps your focus sharp through roost, rain, and ruts. Trusted by champions, built for every rider. Crystal clear optics, all-day comfort, zero distractions. Ride with EKS because every second counts. Gear up at EKSbrand.com.
All right. X brand comments. This one comes from Marco Felipe or Philip. I feel like he's told me how to say his name before, and I'm probably saying it wrong. It's probably Philip. He says, is it just me, or has Ricky been worse this year in the booth? Okay, so if I'm being 100% honest, when I watch the race, the volume's on, but I don't hear what they say. I am zoned out. I usually have a notepad on my lap in case something happens that I want to keep a note on or a reminder of.
Yeah.
I'm watching it. Like when I listen to the review show or Steve says, oh, you said this, to Weege or whatever. I'm like, really? I didn't hear that. Because I'm just not that focused on it. Because there are things that most of the announcers, broadcast guys do that kind of bug me anyway. Like James bugs me.
Do you turn the sound down?
No, it's on. I'm just not locked into what's being said.
So
what do you think? I don't know if Ricky's been worse or better. I just don't know.
So when I watched the races initially, and I had the sound on loud, but then when And sometimes I'm like doing stuff like where I like a couple weeks ago we were in Dallas and we were driving back and I put the race on while I was in the car and I was kind of watching it, but I was kind of just listening to it. But then I always go back and rewatch the races a second, sometimes even third time, at least the main events. And I do it like as we're going to bed. And so I pretty much had the volume down for my fiance because she does, so she can sleep. And so I'm not like keeping her awake.
Tell her to get over it.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like in a lot of scenarios, I hear the race the first time, and then I just see the race the second time. So, but I mean, that's not really the point of this.
Not relevant, yeah.
But that's my routine of how I watch the races. So a lot of times when I'm really like trying to analyze what the riders are doing, the sound's not on, kind of similar to what you are. But yeah, I think that my thing with RC is. And it's the same complaint as a lot of people. It's just he tries to be. I feel like he tries to be the announcer sometimes. Like okay. I feel like he doesn't just analyze. I feel like he tries to do the announcing position too, and it's like that's not why you're there. And I feel like he cookie cuts things sometimes. Like I feel like I want to see him go more in depth. I know he doesn't have time. I know all the arguments to all that. But if that's what the people are complaining about, I can see that part.
Yeah, I can't say that I have any complaints because I guess I'm just not focused enough.
You just don't care, man. It's cool.
Yeah, I guess I don't care. I feel like they've tried to change, the broadcast itself has tried to change up the way they do picture-in-picture. It's a little different now. I think it used to be one was larger and one was small, and it looked like they were the same size this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Even just like talking to Ian, which you guys are hearing here a little bit, we were sort of talking about how good we have it now compared to you in general with the sport.
I mean, yeah.
Because I asked him when he was in South Africa, like, how did you, and he was talking about how he was a fan of the sport and he got to come over and compete with some of his heroes and these legends. It's like, well, how did you find out about the sport? You'll hear all this in a minute, so I don't need to tell. But anyway, the point is back then, like I was asking him how he got his news in the 80s, right? How he found out about American racing. I was like, yeah, we're so lucky with what we have now. I don't want to complain about it. It's fine. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think I answered the question. I apologize. This one's from Muppet. It says, "Hey Dark, it's Muppet from Australia. Always listen to the show, and I need a big favor from you or Steve. Maybe I should have proofread these. Pre-read these. I need to get a hold of Brock Glover because he won the first Australian Supercross Master in '81. I need a pic of the trophy." All right, Muppet. I don't really know Brock very well.
He's in the press box a lot. But no,
now that I see this in Birmingham, like I can ask him. It's one of those weird questions when I don't know the guy very well. And if I had to ask Steve to help you out, Steve would be like, yeah, man, I'm not doing that. So I'll hold on to this, Muppet. So sorry, again, didn't help you much either. Phil Smeltzer, regular. Hey, is 464 Doc Smith, TJ's kid? Yep. Well, I actually responded day of the race to that. Your co-host, I'm curious why Suzuki, cheaper or sponsor? Do you know why Doc went?
I think he gets help.
How much time do we have? Let's try this real quick.
TJ's in texting, so he should be calling him.
Yep. Let's try this.
Doc had to get rescued this week.
His van issue?
Yeah, his van, yeah.
Oop, I thought I muted. I didn't. Great radio, bro.
How do you know?
Yellow.
TJ.
Yeah.
Phil Smeltzer wants to know why Doc chose a Suzuki.
Because it's a sponsor deal. He rides for Moto Nation Suzuki team, and that bike is basically a full JGR bike.
Okay.
And so, I mean, the bike is fast. It's just him being slow this weekend.
I'm not going to say crap. Yeah, he also wants he wants to know, does he really like the bike? And what has he done to it? So obviously the sponsor's done. What's been done to that bike?
It's a full build. It actually has one of Martin, what's it called, J Mart's old motor in it. Like it is
funny,
what
J Mart hasn't rode Suzuki forever, but he's got one of J Mart's.
Well, I mean that's how little they changed it. But
I know, that's why it's funny.
Well, like I don't think it was ever used by him, but it was built for him and has his initials in it. Maybe it was like a factory built 250 motor.
Right.
We talked about it today because I was giving him a hard time about how long before he gets back on the KTM because of the kickstart, and he said
He said the bike's faster than any of his built bikes, and he said it tracks better. He loves the bike. Obviously, the Kickstarter. He spent all of, I want to say, about 7 minutes total during practice between the two practices kickstarting his bike. So
he spent the rest of the time rolling the whoops.
Oh, bro, it was bad. Like, he knows it's bad.
Yeah,
and then his van breaks down on the way to Daytona.
Yeah.
And I know you got time for the story, but we'll have to talk about it later.
Yeah. Well, are you back in next week?
I will be back in next week. But I will be going to Indy too.
Okay.
Because I got to bring his van to him.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thanks for answering. That answers Phil Smeltzer's question. Thanks, TJ.
All right, later.
Yep. That's TJ Smith. This guy.
Stop acting like an idiot. You're the idiot.
Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
Yep, that's TJ for you. Let's see. He had one more comment here. Didn't make it. Damn, Doc didn't make it in. True story. Then he says, okay, I had a buddy growing up that joined gymnastics class at 16 to try and get a chick. After 6 months, he was 3 times better on a bike. He said it transformed his balance and taught him to be comfortable when uncomfortable. And it unlocked his equilibrium in a way, also strengthened his joints like crazy. Worth a shot. What's he have to lose? And a lot of chicks. Well, Doc's married, but I like the idea. I'm not joining gymnastics, but I would love to unlock my equilibrium because my equilibrium sucks. That's good stuff, though, Phil. Appreciate you. Blake Baumer. This is the X Brand comments, xbrand.com, eksbrand.com. Blake, what's up, guys? With Daytona Supercross coming up this weekend, I really want to see a classic Eli Tomac performance. I'm talking a full-on smoke clutches, coolant boiling, smoke rolling to the finish line type of ride. From memory, it's been a while since we've seen his bike smoking from clutch use, besides Daytona 24 when the valve cover gasket was leaking. Have the teams made advancements to the bike to better handle his heavy clutch use, or has Eli started to be more conscious of the clutch use in recent years? Blake, I wish I had that question when Eli was on or yesterday before Ian got on. I don't know how much they've done or what he's changed, but yeah, I would love to see a full-on work in the clutch, shit out of the clutch ride from Eli. Mm-hmm. That would be cool. We'll talk about who our picks are coming up. How we doing on time? All right, yep. So Tim West, Dark Side. As I'm getting older, vision is becoming an issue while I'm riding. You and me both. I wear glasses for some blurriness about 30 feet out. When I race off-road, I ditch my glasses and just do a goggle. I'm wondering if anyone on the panel has ever used any type of glass inserts in their goggles. I won't do contacts either. I don't think you have vision issues.
No, but it's the day is slowly coming. I can't see nearly as well as I used to. I'm not to the point where I have to have glasses now. But like I'm like driving at night, like all the lights kind of like I have like a
streaks.
They get streaks, and like I noticed that like I can't see signs far away like as good as I used to. So I'm not at the point yet where I have to wear readers or anything. But the day is coming.
Yeah,
like
I've got my readers on right now.
Like I've noticed that like I'm still being stubborn. Like, and I still have like my text message zoomed like to like all the way out, like normal.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that like if I zoom in a little bit, I can definitely read them a little easier.
I haven't zoomed mine in either, and I have readers. I probably should.
Yeah,
I'm not willing to go that far.
I haven't done that yet. Yeah, but like the day's coming for me though. Probably 10 years from now. When even 10 years from now, I still won't be as the age you are now. So by the time I get to that point, I probably will for sure. I wasn't being a dick.
Oh, I thought you meant I thought you said like basically 10 years from now, I'm still not going to be as old as you are.
Well, I mean, like I'm just doing the math. Like, my eyesight will be I'll be in the same position you are now, and I probably won't even be as old as you are.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, Tim, there are goggle companies that are designed for people that wear glasses. I can't.
They have lenses, right? They have lenses with.
It's usually a lot of times it's the foam. The foam's so tight, your glasses won't fit in. So they're. With X Brand, I've known guys that trim the foam just so their glasses will fit.
Yeah, but don't they make lenses that have like
that are like have your
maybe not your prescription, but have like a a zoom to them,
Probably.
like a
X
reader
brand
would
doesn't have that, but yeah.
I would imagine that you could find that.
But if you want to wear your glasses, there are brands that can do it, or you can trim your foam. I have problems. I've noticed I've had problems focusing, like when I'm coming into a corner, and that it's more. It feels like everything's moving faster in a corner when you're coming in than in a straightaway. But I haven't got to where I'm wearing glasses while I'm riding. I definitely couldn't do that because my long. I don't know what short sighted and near sighted is, but I can see far away. I just can't see like the first 5 feet. So I don't have a lot of experience with it. But there are goggle companies out there, Tim. I think I have one more. Nope, that's listener question. Soul 505. Okay. So that is the X brand comments. Let's see here. Cool. Your ass off. Bring the heat. What's that?
Say cool.
Cool. If you're looking to grill a savory steak, bake a delicious chicken breast, or make the perfect roasted potatoes, or fry bacon for breakfast, Grill Your Ass Off has a seasoning to elevate the experience. Jason Murph is a military vet and motocross enthusiast, and his line of seasonings and sauces simply can't be beat. On top of being outstanding, every product sold helps support a true nonprofit. Visit grillyourassoff.com and use promo code DarksideMX3, all caps, to save 20%. If you haven't ordered some Grill Your Ass Off yet, I'm going to be angry with you. All you people listening love to eat. I know you love to eat. Add some extra seasoning. Get you some Grill Your Ass Off. Get some Infidel for the pork. Get some, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, or jerky. There's all kinds of different stuff. Cannibal is one of my favorites.
Dogs?
Yeah, I'm not a pickle guy, so I'm going to stay away from the donkey dogs. Like, here's the ones that I use the most is the Crispy's Mango Habanero. I have one at home, one at work. I use it like on French fries, chicken. Oh, wow. I like the Cannibal. That's one of Amber's favorites. She uses that on different things. I'll use it on bacon, or the Infidel, which is kind of they call it the pork seasoning, but I'll use it on hamburger. It doesn't matter. You can mix and match. But those are my 3 favorites.
I've never heard of seasoning your bacon.
That's so good. Heather Kiefer is the one that kind of taught me that.
Because it's already so dang salty.
I just put a little bit, like she was putting Cannibal, I think, on it. Or maybe Claymore. I don't know. And when I was out there, I was like, oh my God, what did you do to your bacon? I
didn't even think that you needed to make bacon better, but I guess you could.
It's so awesome. Oh my
God. I mean, I've had peppered bacon.
I just sprinkle a little bit on there.
Just a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit on one side. It's unreal.
Just game changer?
It's a game changer.
Wow.
Yeah.
We met Jason, right?
Yeah, you met. Yep, I introduced you to Jason. Yep.
I met, but they were cool. He was good people.
Yeah, he is very, very good dude. Okay, do you have a Grill Your Ass Off in the heat?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, let's knock it out.
So
I'm gonna text Pat while you're doing that.
I was scrolling through my Instagram and I saw the latest edition of the Press Box food review from our buddy Lewis and Steve Mathis that they do every week, which I think is funny and that they do, and it has gotten Feld to step up their game when it comes to food. Like it's definitely it is probably the main topic of the entire press conference day. Like we'll just be sitting there watching practice and qualifying, and they're like, what's the ETA on the food? What did you guys hear? What we're having? It is definitely a topic of discussion.
Sure.
So in this latest one, they gave a poor performance to the tacos because there wasn't lettuce and cheese for the tacos, which if they had been that style of tacos, I would understand. But we are in the heart of Texas. Those were authentic street tacos. I mean, I don't know how authentic they were, but they were street tacos. Street tacos don't have cheese.
Dumb.
They don't have lettuce. They sometimes have the cojita cheese, the queso fresco. Yeah, it's basically yeah. Shut the fuck up. But sometimes you could see that, but I doubt that they were going to have those with that. That I use that on my tacos, like queso blanco, like this. You know what I'm talking about? Like the crumbly cheese.
Okay. Yeah.
You could possibly have those in street tacos, but you're not putting shredded Colby Jack on top of street tacos.
Okay, but
so to complain about the tacos and give it a poor rating when I thought that they were pretty good. I even had them. We got up there later after lunch had already been served, and they were still they were a little bit cold. I still thought they were great. The salsa was great. You commented on how good the salsa was.
Awesome.
But the complaining about not having lettuce and cheese for a street taco was, I thought, an unfair demarcation for the Press Box Food Review.
Well, I stand by my friend Steve Mathis and Lewis Phillips because I don't care what your definition of a street taco is. There should be no tacos without cheese. Period.
You're wrong.
I don't care if the law of the land says a taco should have cheese.
I promise you, I love cheese probably more than you do. Like there's probably not very many things that I eat without cheese, but I can understand how a street taco should just have cilantro and onion, which was provided is cilantro, onion, and either red or green sauce. That is a street taco. That's what was provided.
The tacos were good. They had good flavor. They would have been better with cheese. I don't care if a street taco technically doesn't have cheese.
Okay,
I'm just saying it would be better. We can't go on about this forever. We got to get this done. I've got a guest waiting.
Okay, sorry.
But also, the pizza, I didn't even eat it. It looked so bad.
The cheese pizza was okay.
Yeah. So but I will say, I don't get to go to every race. The food when I first started doing this, we didn't get food. I joked the first time I did Arlington, I had to leave the stadium, walk across the street to Jack in the Box to get food and come back.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get food. So I
remember
thankful for the food.
When I went to, the first time I went to race was like 2022. It was one of the first, it wasn't the first time, but it was one of the first times that they did pizza or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. And honestly, that's all thanks to Steve complaining. But
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Though, look, man, they should provide stuff like that because we are there. Like practice starts at 10:30, 11 usually, and you're there till 2 or 3. Like you have to eat, man, and you're working, and there's no other way to get food really in there.
Yeah,
it's right of them to provide it, and I do appreciate that they provided it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
yeah,
I'm sorry, street tacos don't have cheese.
No, they should. All right, I don't actually have one this week. I could maybe do one, kind of. It's not really a bring the heat, but I'm going to read one that came in through our email, Nicholas Winkleman. Warning in advance, this is a long email, so I kind of cut some of it out. He says, the handling of these non-penalties has to be the easiest bring the heat topic ever. To me, the worst part is that Arlington should be remembered as one of the best races of the past few years. A 4-way battle that included 121 previous wins, 5 championships, the current top 4 in points, and ended with a first-time winner. It doesn't get better than that. But instead, it gets overshadowed by blatant stupidity. We have already kind of touched on it, like our thoughts on it, so we don't have to get into it. But I do feel like that's a fair assessment. That should not have happened, especially when they have video evidence. There are rules in place. It should have been handled properly, and unfortunately, I don't think it was. But we're going to move on. While I'm at it, if
the lights were working properly, do you think that they just were trying to cover up the fact that the lights weren't working?
No.
If the lights,
it didn't get turned off. To me, a red light should mean you can't.
But the red light's not in the rule book.
There used to be a red light thing in the rule book. The new lead-in light thing is not in the rule book. But if you have a red light on, that should mean don't jump. Period. That's what a red light should mean.
But they didn't have that.
I think I think there is something about. There's not something about the lead. Well, maybe they changed it.
Well, no, but that's what they're saying is that the lead-in light didn't happen, so therefore
but the lead-in light did happen
for Hunter only. Then it went off. That's what
on for all of them.
No, that's what happened. That's why they didn't do it because.
But the red cross flag was out.
Yes, but that's why everybody's mad that they should have gotten docked for not jumping on the red cross flag. But AMA is saying because of the issues of the lead-in light not working, that they're saying they didn't get enough warning to be able to see the red cross flag, which it's a mess.
Okay. All right. Well, regardless. If the red light was on for Joe, it was on for Pierce. That should mean don't jump. This lead-in light thing is stupid.
Yeah,
it's too confusing.
They got to figure it out.
It's got me confused with all the different things I've been hearing. All right, while I'm at it, it could be recency bias, but the broadcast was one of the worst in a while, to the point where I was ready to make that alone a Bring the Heat, which is saying something given the consistently mediocre expectations they set each week. Again, I kind of already expressed how I felt. There's more about all that, but yeah, because I'm not going to complain about the broadcast. Most of the time when I'm watching the race, I'm enjoying it. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really focused so much on what they're saying.
Yeah, most of the time
I enjoy it. I think maybe I'd have to go through this email. Yeah, he did. He made a point. This did bother me. They were focusing on Cole Davies. He was about to pass somebody in the whoops at that blazing speed, and as soon as he hit the whoops, he went away as he was making the pass. I didn't like that. That was like, why are you doing that? Like he's crushing the whoops. He's about to make a pass. That part kind of sucked. But I am just not. I don't feel like criticizing the broadcast anymore. I'm pretty damn happy with what we have. And when you watch World Supercross, I'm even more happy with what we have with Supercross. We're pretty freaking lucky.
No comment.
So I have no
bring Galdi, and arena cross commentation is great.
Oh yeah, congratulations to Ryan Brees, by the way.
Yeah, but had it on the news earlier.
AMA Arena Cross. That series didn't go quite as well as we would like to have had. What?
No, nothing.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were giving me the.
No, I was just scratching my nipple. I saw you at
the corner of my eye, and I thought you were giving me like the stop talking.
Nope, just scratching my titty.
Scratching your nipple.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to work on getting Pat Gesualdo on.
You're scratching your titty.
Yeah. my nipple is itching. Speak of the devil. Wow, that was weird. I was going to kind of talk about, for my Bring the Heat, maybe the incident but it's not really Bring the Heat that I had on the way home.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll try to talk about that at the end of the night. But our next guest is on the line, and he's going to be brought to you also by Racetech right now. Racetech Gold Valves provide a plush feel with drastically improved bottoming resistance and increased traction. All Racetech products are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA. Tonight, Racetech brings us drum virtuoso, founder of the healing art of drum therapy techniques, founder of the Metal Hall of Fame, and Supercross enthusiast, Pat Gesualdo. What's up, Pat?
Hey, how are you?
We're good, man. We're good. Me and Scotty, we just got done talking to Joe Shimoda a little bit ago, and with you, I want to talk a little bit about music and the involvement of the Metal Hall of Fame with Feld and Supercross. So let's start with that just for a second. Now, first, when did you found the Metal Hall of Fame?
Well, actually, and thank you for that. Such a great honor to be here with all your guests and fans. It's awesome.
Well, thank you.
So we started actually 10 years ago. This January was our 10th anniversary. And man, a lot has happened since then, let me tell you.
I bet. Yeah. It's come a long way, right?
Yep. And it all started basically. So it was 2016, actually, when I think Deep Purple got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'm a fan of Purple, and I know all the guys in the band. And so when they were inducted, by that point in time, the keyboard player, John Lord, had passed away, unfortunately.
Yes.
So the drummer, Ian Pace, was there with John's wife, Vicky, to accept on his behalf. And Jamie, the camera kind of panned to the audience, and everybody was like half asleep. And then a couple segments later, I think it was Eazy-E that got inducted, and the place went crazy. And it was in about 10 seconds, literally, that I came to the whole idea. I was like, this is ridiculous. There has to be a Hall of Fame for rock or metal. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to call it the Metal Hall of Fame. And that was in April. And the following January, 3,000 miles away, was our first show in California.
Yeah, and
that's how the whole thing started.
I know Eddie Trunk. I don't know if he's hosted all of them, but Eddie has been around. He's okay. So, and he is a big proponent of, or not proponent, but he speaks very loudly about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the injustices from within. And Scotty and I were just talking a little while ago about that, because I was looking at the list for this year, and I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan. They're on the docket again, but I think Bruce has even said, like, we don't want anything to do with it because it's a joke. So I really love that you started the Metal Hall of Fame. I don't know how we get it bigger. Like, I don't know how you do that so that it gets more help and more support, but hopefully over time that will happen.
Yeah, I mean, we've been making, great strides. And, so I actually called the executives over at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when I first came up with the idea. And they're like, nah, it's okay, Paco, do your little thing. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just go ahead, do what you want. The next year, our first year was so big. The next year, they called me up and told me what I could do to myself. And I said, well, you can go do it to yourself, too.
Wow.
Because I told you. But, and to that end, we were the first ones to get Judas Priest.
Yep.
Right? Not them. We inducted Judas Priest at Wacken in Germany in front of 80,000 people. Yeah. We got members of Maiden a few years ago, which was great. And, we're the first ones to get them. So, I mean, we're doing great. And, the way we're looking forward to expanding, and we have the mobile museum with our tour bus. And to your point, we were talking about, you had mentioned Supercross and Feld, and I'm so grateful to everybody over at Feld and Supercross, because, they allow us to bring the bus and the mobile museum to many of the Supercross races. And we set up the whole thing right there, which is just unbelievable. So this year also, which was great, this year was a little different. We usually do the gala in Anaheim, California. And this year I decided to take over the Sunset Strip and do it at the Roxy Theater, the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and the Viper Room.
I'm so disappointed that I couldn't make it this year, because
I know you weren't there.
I know. I had to go back to having a real job during the week, and I just couldn't make it out there for that night. Yeah, I was disappointed. But Sean Brennan and Doug Cabrera from Feld, I know they made it. They lived it up.
They sure did, and you've been at some of them too, which is great.
Oh yeah, I had the pleasure. I was fortunate enough, thanks to you guys and Todd Headley, to get to meet John Five. Let's see, Sebastian Bach, one of my all-time favorite singers. I actually have one of his lyrics tattooed on my arm, so I got to show him that. Tom Morello. And even meeting Eddie Trunk, man. I've been a fan of Eddie since that metal show. So your event has made my night 3 years in a row.
That's great. And it's such an honor to have you there, really, and the whole Supercross team. And I mean, it's just great. And my thinking is that, we all need to work together, right? And Supercross coming into the fold. Now, Monster Energy is coming into the fold, and so is Danny Wimmer presents with many of the major festivals Danny does. So that's just phenomenal. We're going to be all over, the bus and the museum and doing a lot of different things, because I believe that we also need to bring the hall to the fans, right? So that's why we want to reach out and do as many events as possible, because it's all about the fans, right? It's all about the fans. And those musicians that have worked so hard, carry the flag for us for decades, literally, and have gotten no accolades, nothing. So that's why it's such an honor to do it, even as a fan. And we have a whole board of directors too, Wendy Dio and David Elfson and, Jimmy Kay and from the Metal Voice, and Michael Sarna, who's a big movie producer, and George Johnson. And George was a digital audio pioneer, which was great. And Muncie Ritchie, who has started one of the first metal A&R divisions, one of the labels many years ago.
Okay.
So that's our team, and we all work hard to do what we got to do.
How did the partnership with Supercross and Feld start?
Well, that actually started with three people. Sean Brennan.
Yep.
Todd Headley, and my dear buddy, Owen Kennedy. And knowing Owen for 40 years, we go way back together. Owen has been my security guy and our director of events too at some points for many of my tours over the past 40 years. So Owen and I, we got to know each other very well. And through a promoter actually in Boston when I was living in Boston 40 years ago for a couple of years. And he had managed some very big bands. He was a big concert promoter. That's how I met Owen. And then that led to Sean, and that led to Todd.
Yeah, because Owen was like head of security for Supercross for years.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, that's how I met him. Was my manager at the time in New England. He was doing the Ringo Starr show, and I actually saved Ringo from getting assassinated.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first time I had met Owen, because he had worked on that whole thing. So, yeah.
That's wild. Wow. Well, it definitely, to me, feels like a match made in heaven, because it's my two favorite things. Besides my family and all that, when it comes to things that I just am entertained by, it's motocross, supercross, and metal. So it's perfect for me. And, you know, in the 90s and, you know, all the motocross videos were like punk rock, and I love that kind of stuff too. Heavy punk rock, like Strung Out, Pennywise, and dude, just love crunchy guitar. So it's a match made in heaven for me. Yeah. Did you know much about Supercross when you first got involved with Feld, or did you become a fan?
Well, a little bit of both, actually. Of course, I knew what it was in Monster Jam, right? So I knew all that stuff. And I knew they were always here in Jersey at the Meadowlands. And then, of course, when you get involved in the whole machine of Feld Entertainment and Supercross and Disney on Ice and Monster Jam and Ringling and everything else, it's like it's overwhelming. So then, of course, I got to learn a lot more and became even more of a fan, because we're right there. And I tell you, really, if it wasn't for Owen, Sean Brennan and Todd Headley, yourself, a lot of the riders, and Doug Cabrera and everybody over at Feld, I'll tell you, we wouldn't be as far along the path as we are today. That's for sure. So I owe them and you a great deal of gratitude for sure.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of being at your events with a number of riders. Justin Hill, Justin is a guitar player. He has some of his own music. He's a big, I guess we'd say like Alice in Chains and, you know, that era, Nirvana fan, but he loves hard rock. Lars Lindstrom, team manager for Honda HRCs, loves that kind of music. He hasn't really been able to go yet, but Aaron Plessinger's gone, had a good time. I've hung out with Cade Clayson and Henry Miller. I had D. Snyder yell at me. I don't know if you remember that a few years ago, but yep, he yelled at me.
What you do to D?
We were front row. Our table was front row, and I was filming for social media. And as I was posting it, he just stopped the song and was like, "Hey, motherfucker, pay attention to the show. Like, you know, put your phone down." I was like, "Yes, sir."
Yes.
Put the phone down.
Sorry, Mr.
Yes,
Twister.
sir, Mr. Snyder.
Mr. Sister.
But yeah, I got yelled at by D. Snyder. Like that. I mean,
that's cool.
Who would have thought that when I was 13 years old?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, when we inducted Lee Kerslake, you know, that was the original Ozzy drummer. And for 39 years at that point, he played on the first two albums, Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. And he never got his gold and platinum record awards from Sharon and Ozzy because of the lawsuit going back for 39 years.
Yeah.
And he had come out in 2019, I think, and said that he had 7 months to live, and his dying wish was to get his platinum albums. So I kind of made that happen. And then you want to talk about getting yelled at. So Sharon and Ozzy called me, and I got my share of that too for a little bit. But then, you know, yeah, we calmed it down, and very grateful to Sharon and Ozzy because they've really helped us surprise, you know, Lee with his platinum albums for Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. And man, I tell you, Lee flew over from Europe, and he was in so much pain, and you couldn't tell that night at all, you know, and he was just so happy to see the fans. And that night was all about him, you know, for sure.
That's cool. Yeah. I didn't make it that year, unfortunately, but that's cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Supercross. What is going on this season that you're most enthralled by? What is intriguing you? What storylines?
Oh man, there's just so many, and not only that, I mean, part of it is it's exciting to be like right in the middle of it and see it and be there firsthand too. Of course, a lot of my concentration is with, and as you know, and the fans know, is that at most of the stadiums, there's 50, 70,000 people there at a time. So I'd like to interact even more, but I'm so crazy with talking to the fans,
Yeah.
It's insane.
It really
Which is great.
It's a lot going on, and and I think those of us that get to go a lot, and the guys that go every week, we get a little jaded by how spectacular it really is.
Oh, it's just amazing. And even the people that haven't done Fan Fest, which is the area where the fans go, there's 30, 40,000 people sometimes at a time. And of course, our rig is usually set up very close to Monster or right by the entrance where you have to walk in and out of the gate. So our tour bus is set up there with the museum, and seeing so many fans, but also getting to interact with a lot of the Supercross sponsors and the vendors that are there. That's also spectacular, especially what Monster does. I mean, it's just so amazing to see Monster bring their rig with the stage and the whole thing. It's just fantastic.
I agree. It really is a great. Oh, you got one?
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I got my co. Scott, you can go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, do you see a comparison? Obviously you've been around a lot of musicians and rock stars throughout this endeavor. Do you see like how these Supercross guys kind of are like rock stars in their own way? And like, what are some of the things that you see in similarities in personality and character wise?
Yeah, it's amazing because you see so many that, first of all, are huge metal fans. Yeah. And that's our demographic. Our demographic and Supercross, it's a match made in heaven, like you said, because it's basically the same fans. And so you see a lot of the guys. And for me, what I get the most satisfaction out of too is, of course, because doing the events, I'm always running around going crazy, but seeing a lot of the riders and yourselves there meeting Eddie Trunk for the first time, for me, it's easy because these guys are all my friends, right? I mean, for decades, I've, as a drummer, I've played on a lot of major projects with a lot of major artists. So a lot of these guys, maybe I take that for granted in a way too, although not really, because sometimes I'm starstruck myself, I must say.
Yeah,
sure. Really. I mean, so to see a lot of the riders so involved and then to meet their heroes too, when they're the rock stars of your sport, it's unbelievable. And vice versa, by the way. There's a lot of rock stars that are just in awe of a lot of the riders. It's amazing. Like the last one, the week of the gala that we just did, Carlos Cavazzo was there, right? There was a bunch of people there, a bunch of rock stars, and I know they were just so psyched, especially Carlos, guitar player from Quiet Riot, because he's a huge fan.
Oh, that's cool.
So for him to be there, he couldn't stop talking about it.
That's awesome. Awesome. I introduced the guys this weekend. Rita Dime's widow was there this weekend, so I introduced the guys to her and got to visit with her for a few minutes. So yeah, she's a big fan.
She is. Rita's great too. Rita and I are going to be doing some things, with Dimebag, with Blacktooth whiskey, and that's going to be awesome too, for sure. But it's just amazing how, I really believe in all of us working together on the industry side of things, and it just makes everything that much bigger. And not only that, it's a great experience for the fans. That's what I'm all about.
Absolutely. Well, all right, before we let you go, I got a couple more questions for you, Pat. Give me your 450 champion prediction. Who wins the title?
Oh man, it's so close right now. What are your thoughts on that? Let me throw that back to you.
I think I picked Coop early on, and I'm sticking with Coop for right now. Yeah. But if I had to put my life on it, I would probably switch to Eli. But I'm sticking with Coop right
the other
now.
way. I was thinking Cooper, but it's nice to hear that from an insider, quote unquote, to see what your predictions are too.
Yeah, but you said Coop?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to write it down because we have predictions. I have a little notebook with predictions, and then at the end of the year, we'll see how they come true. How about 250 West?
Oh,
I think that was probably the easiest of all of them.
Man. Again, I don't know. I think things are just so tight.
I think
again, I'm going to throw that back to you.
Okay.
What's your involvement? Not only throwing it back to you, not to put you on the spot.
No, you're good.
But what for both of you actually? What's your take on just the whole, circuit in general? And the championship.
Yeah, well, I think just in general, that's hard to say. It's exciting. There's really good racing this year. I think the level of the sport has elevated in the last few years. So we get really great racing. Even the mid-pack guys, there's good battles going on, so it's exciting. Hayden Deegan is making 250 West a little boring at the top spot of the podium, but there's still a lot going on back there with McAdoo and Levi Kitchen. And at the end of the day, we love this sport because we like to watch the racing. And it's just, there really is good racing throughout the entire field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, the point that I've been that's been sticking out to me the last couple of years is that we kind of have an unprecedented level of caliber of rider at their age that they're still competing.
Yeah, at the older age.
Yeah, at the older age. That's never really happened in the sport before, and it's giving us some like elite level of competition, and these guys are so smart and they're so calculated and they know the competition and they know the riders. So it's an unprecedented elite level of riding that we're seeing, and I just don't want people to take it for granted because it may be the new trend to do that into the 30s. This may be just a glimpse in time where we just get this little window. Yeah. But the fact that we have all these guys over the age of 30 competing the way they are, it's just kind of a blessing, Unreal. Honestly. Yeah,
absolutely.
And to see the younger guys too, right, work so hard and put it all on the line too. That's amazing to see too. Talk about dedication to a sport, right?
Yes. The average person has no idea how much these guys put in. I know football players, baseball players, basketball players, they put in lots of time, but I don't believe for a second anybody puts in more time than a professional motocross, supercross rider. There is no downtime. They get maybe a week or two off a year where they don't have to do something riding wise, and it is almost 7 days a week, whether it's travel, practice, training. It's next level for sure. It's incredible. Let me ask you a question that I feel like might be easier for you, but it also might be more difficult. Give me the best concert you've ever seen.
Yeah, I'd have to say Black Sabbath with Ian Gillan, 1983.
Wow. Okay.
At the Metal.
Ian Gillan. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Wow. That's a throwback. That was limited, right? He wasn't in the band very long.
1 year or so.
Yeah.
And then he went back to join Purple for the reunion, which I saw that too. And they didn't do Smoke on the Water because him and Richie Blackmore got into a fight.
Yeah. I've heard lots of stories about Richie. Yeah, I've never met him, but yeah. He was not easy to deal with.
No. I don't know him personally. Unfortunately, I know everybody else in the band, and they're just fantastic. But Ian Pace at one point, I had a signature product line with Promark the Hotfoot. It was a special bass drum beater, and Ian Pace endorsed that. And so I'd hang out with Ian a lot too, and the rest of the band. Quick story though.
Okay.
Even shorter though. So one time I'm backstage, and they had Steve Morse, and I go back into the dressing room, right? I'm hanging out with Roger Glover and Ian Pace, and in the corner there's a piano, and I see John Lord teaching Steve Morse like chords. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here, right? And I asked Ian, I said, what's going on? They said, well, this is the first time we're going to do Knocking at Your Back Door. And John Lord's showing Steve the chords because we're going to do it tonight for the first time. And to see that being rehearsed in the dressing room, that was awesome.
Yeah, I just started a music podcast. I did the first episode last week, I think, and it was so much fun because I just get I'm not a musician at all. I have zero talent, but I love the rock and roll and metal so much that just talking to the musicians and asking questions about writing and recording songs, and man, I just get so into it, the stories, and I'm very fortunate to have been able to come to your event, and I'm really good friends with Monty Pittman. I don't know if you know Monty or not.
I don't know personally, no.
Well, he grew up in the town I live in, and I mean, I've been friends with him since right out of high school, and
that's very cool.
I've got to go see him play with Madonna. I got to meet Scotty Ian and Charlie Benante because Anthrax and Lamb of God was playing the night before Madonna down the road, so I got to those are some of my favorite memories. Just meeting these musicians, meeting Sebastian Bach, and just it might be my happiest place, even outside of moto. I just love music and being at concerts. And I don't know, man. I wish I could play that. If I had one genie in the bottle, selfish dream or whatever, it would be to play guitar.
Yeah, no, it's hard. Listen, I'm a frustrated piano, even though I'm a drum virtuoso, but I'm a frustrated piano player. That's for sure.
Yeah. I wish my mom would maybe do that when I was a kid, because as a kid I was like, oh, piano's lame, but no, it's so awesome and it teaches you so much.
All the stuff I thought that was lame when I was a kid, I do now, and I wish I had been better at it when I was a kid.
Exactly. Pat, man, this was really a lot of fun. I need to get you back on for the music pod. I'm calling it the mix down, but I need to get you back on for that, where we can really dive into some music stories.
Oh, I would love to. It's a huge honor being here with both of you. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to Supercross and Feld and, Sean Brennan and Todd Headley and Owen Kennedy and the whole Feld team. I'm so grateful for all you guys. And Monster, of course, Monster Energy as well. And I would love to come on the podcast. That would be awesome.
All right, we will get that scheduled. And I promise, not that you really care, but I will be at the next Metal Hall of Fame in 2027.
You have to be there. I want to see you there. We're going to hang and have a good time.
100%. I'll make it happen. I regret not coming this year. Just way the life went this time though. But I would have loved to have met Ricky Rocket, because last story here, a lot of people right in the rock and roll world go, oh, Poison, they're kind of a joke, they're lame or whatever, but if not for Poison, I don't know that I would be into rock and roll. That Nothing But a Good Time changed my life at 12 years old.
Yeah, and music is very therapeutic, you know.
My parents didn't listen to music really. I didn't know anything about bands. I tell the story a lot. I was literally watching MTV to see what I thought was Run DMC's Walk This Way. I didn't know what Aerosmith was, but my friends were into Run DMC. So I was waiting for that video, and Nothing But a Good Time came on. I was like, what is this? CeCe playing the guitar up on top of the light structure, and that was it. I was in, man. I had a week later, I had a denim jacket with a open up and say all back patch, and it changed my life. No joke, no exaggeration. That changed the course of what my interests were.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. And I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. And even nowadays that's why we have to keep it alive, because with all the other genres of music and, metal being in the background, but we're working so hard to keep it relevant and alive for future generations.
I agree. And I applaud what you're doing, and you also have a nonprofit, Drums and Disabilities. So you're doing a lot of good with music, and I applaud what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you guys for having me on. It's a huge honor. And maybe, see you over on the music side too.
100%.
And definitely in person next year for sure.
Done. We're going to do it. Pat, thank you for doing this. Todd, if you're listening, he said he was going to try to listen. We love you, brother. Thank you for setting this up. And thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Talk to you guys soon.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
That's Pat Gesualdo, founder of the Metal Hall of Fame. For those of you that aren't music fans, I apologize, but It's a big deal to me.
No, that was cool. It was very insightful.
Yeah, and I like what they're doing with Feld and the connection. So a lot of fun with those guys. And yeah, that was for me. That was a lot of fun. We'll definitely get him. I'll get him on the mix down and do that. Let's do a couple of these other segments. We'll do the Ian Harrison, and then we'll come back and wrap up with the last two. So did I tell you to do a Cherubies? I think I did.
Yep, you did.
Yeah, if you'll do a Cherubies, just do the read, pick one of those. I'm going to text him, tell him thank you.
Yep. Maybe. Possibly.
If you can't find it, I'll do it.
It started with a passion for the ride and the drive to build something better. At Cherubies became more than a name. It became the armor for every rider who believes in pushing past limits. Our plastics aren't just parts, they're identity. Every line, every curve are built from decades of innovation. From world championships to your local track, a Cherubies stands for protection, performance, and pride in the ride. This is a Cherubies, born from racing, built to last. Get your full plastic kits, hand guards, fuel tanks, bike stands, skid plates, disc covers, linkage guards, and they're used by a lot of the riders that you see on the Supercross every weekend.
100. I was 100% was one.
X brand.
Yeah, I don't think I've said the other one. Do you remember what the other one was?
Oh, touch on?
Yeah, I don't think I've said that.
You haven't touched on nobody tonight?
No, I don't think I've touched it, but I have heard other people say it. JT says it on the review show a couple times.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, it's like
it's stuff
that could be
on.
Another grow your ass off, bring the heat. Like people say things like this.
Yeah, I know,
it's you.
But you get these crutches, and a good broadcaster or whatever learns that, and you work on not saying that. You try to be better. Just like they give, right? We talk about people are upset with Ricky or James or whoever. You got to work on those things that you got to come up with better ways. Like I keep saying, that's awesome. That's so basic. Like I could use, if I was smart, like Lewis, who has a broader vocabulary, then you could come up with better words.
A more broad?
Is broader not a word?
I don't think
Did I say it wrong?
I think that's poor. I think
it might be.
Poor diction. But okay, so say like you're a pitcher in baseball.
Okay.
And you throw the ball 99 miles an hour right-handed.
Alrighty.
They're like, no, you need to learn how to do it left-handed.
I don't think that's the same.
I think so.
Me saying 100% every time I agree with something.
But like, you learned how to throw the ball right-handed. That's not your fault.
Well, I can work on being better, just like when we ride. I got to work on being better. I'm slow in corners. That doesn't mean I just have to always be slow in corners.
Yeah, well,
I can get better.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Potentially.
When you think motocross handlebars, you think cool, Renthal.
Oh, I was reading.
Why?
I was reading hate comms in the chat.
Because Renthal has been the worldwide leader in motorcycle handlebars for over 50 years, racking up 285 U.S. and 268 world titles. Renthal continuously lands on the podium with teams including Honda HRC, Red Bull KTM, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and HEP Progressive Suzuki teams. Whether it's the Fat Bar, Twin Wall, or even the OG 7/8, Renthal bars are unmatched. Renthal is also ahead of the game with their sprockets and grips. And don't forget, you can now go straight to the source with Renthal.com's new direct-to-consumer shopping for your motorcycle, mountain bike, and street needs. Free shipping on orders $99 and up. Lots of cool stuff for the mountain bike coming still. Plus the new Revo DHC and Revo TRC clipless pedals. I'm going on a ride this Saturday. I'm going to try them for the first time. And you have one of Renthal t-shirts on. You can visit Renthal.com to get the shirt. The same shirt Scotty is repping tonight.
It was kind of funny, and this merch just dropped. All the guys that are getting sponsored for it got all the stuff. I was very lucky and thankful and grateful to have gotten some, but it was when Steve realized that I had one of the Renthal shirts that he probably just got this week too.
Yep.
He was kind of like, where did you get that kind of thing? Like
he does that with me a lot. With
it was funny seeing
really?
Like he probably won't wear that Renthal shirt because I had.
It's not that. I think
he's just like, really, like
Lewis
you guys
and I were talking about this. I think sometimes Steve still doesn't give me credit for the advertisers I've got, like having Yamaha, and like he still thinks is like, oh, it's just a pony pod, it's nothing, or whatever. Like he doesn't really acknowledge that we've done something with this.
Yeah, it was to see his face when he realized I was wearing a Renthal shirt was priceless.
He's done stuff like that with me before with other advertisers. Like, they're helping you out. Really?
Oh, they're just giving everybody handouts, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, but yeah, renthal.com. Keep your eyes out for that 661 bar. T-Bolt USA top 5. This was actually a Chase suggestion, but we're going to run with it anyway, Chase. Sorry, man. T-Bolt USA, sometimes you just want to cut loose with your buddies and shred your Yamaha TTR 110, Honda CRF 110, or CRF 50. Maybe you have a Kawasaki KLX 110 or 140, or even a vintage Honda Z50 or CT70. Regardless of what pit bike you have, T-Bolt USA's warehouse has you covered on pit bike parts and accessories. You can find BBR and Pro Taper handlebar kits, D&M shocks, and even full bikes from YCF, Pitster Pro, and Piranha. T-Bolt USA is fully stocked to meet your needs, so visit tboltusa.com, order your parts, and go bang some bars with your buddies. All right, the T-Bolt USA Top 5 topic this week came from Chase for last week's show. We didn't get to it. He's not here this week. Sorry about that. We're gonna use it. Top 5 places you would like to see a GP, an MXGP.
This is just hypothetical.
We kind of
it doesn't realistically have to happen.
Exactly, because I was like, so do we need to a place that could actually hold one? Somewhere I have the schedule. There it is, right here. We're starting in Argentina March 8th, so that is next week. Yeah, next weekend. That's gonna be exciting. Let's see. We go Spain, Switzerland, Sardinia, Italy, Trentino, Italy. Ooh, wow. Gotta work on that. That's the one I think we were talking about going to. France, Germany, Latvia, Italy, Portugal, South Africa, Great Britain, and the Czech Republic. So, want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. Again, this is fantasy a little bit. Obviously, we need one in Texas. So I said Billadilla or Cycle Ranch.
Damn.
That's fine. We're going to have... I think Monster Mountain would be a cool place. It's a cool facility. Now, whether it could actually hold one, that doesn't matter. Honestly, if we're going to go that far, I could say Steve's house down the road. That'd be cool. But I won't go quite that far. I said somewhere tropical, Hawaii or the Bahamas, like a cool island place. Have it on a beach. That'd be cool for me. Be cool for Hurlings. Kind of Wolf. Or Baja. Baja was one. That'd be just down in Baja somewhere. Random.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. And then we're going to go full stupid fantasy. Let's do it on the moon.
Oh, I knew the moon was coming.
Let's do it on the moon.
There was
I don't know how all the teams are going to get there. Viewing might be scarce, but I want
man, there was a computer game I had in the 90s that was like a motocross game. Yeah. It was actually for its time was actually pretty good. And I cannot remember. Moto Extreme, I think maybe what it was called.
All right.
But one of the final maps that you unlocked was a moon race, and the gravity changed, so you could just float over the jumps and stuff.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, moon track's cool.
Okay, so give me yours.
All right. I also wanted one in Texas.
Pause. I'm sorry to interrupt, but the what's the game on your phone? Mad Skills.
Mm-hmm.
They have those where you're weightless, and it is kind of like you're on the moon.
Yeah, it's hard.
Anyway.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, where you float forever.
Yeah,
you jump 12 jumps in one. Anyway, go ahead.
That's fun. I also want one in Texas, but since it's just a hypothetical, it can never happen thing, and you've kind of already used the two semi-logical ones, I'll say wish we had one at Lake Whitney.
Okay.
Bring
Lake Whitney back.
Track doesn't even exist anymore.
I dig it.
It never can exist because it's on a game ranch, and I think it's pretty much never going to happen.
Yeah.
But that track would have been, with that hill and stuff, that would have been sick.
Sure.
I also want to see one in Japan. I know they've done it before, but I want to see one
downtown Tokyo.
And at night.
Yeah.
In a setting like that.
With all the lights.
Kind of how they do Monaco for F1.
Sure, yeah.
But
Singapore, something like that.
Yeah, I want them to and not just a little area where they built a track. I want them they bring dirt and they close off some roads and they're going around buildings and stuff. All right. That would be dope.
I'm down.
I want to see one they kind of had a track like this before. Lewis would be able to name the actual track. I've seen it on YouTube. They were somewhere in England. And there was basically a castle in the background. I don't know where they were. It had this crazy wood section where it was almost kind of like a GNCC course. Half of it was with crazy drop off walls and stuff.
Okay.
So I want to see one with a crazy background like that, a castle or in a forest or stuff. I'm getting a lot of visuals from old MX Unleashed games and stuff like that. Stuff like that. Just like cool things like that. I also I really liked your Baja one. Like, I know they've done one at Glen Helen before, but just to bring something like that back, like just like a lot of hills, and or maybe what's that track that that Cole Seeley did where Asperia
is out in the desert.
No, it's not that. It was, I can't remember. They were just talking about one of his old videos. That track would have been sick.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's 4 or 5, but I think that's all I got.
Castillo Ranch?
That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
No, was it? I think it was.
I mean,
hold on.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Give me 2.
Okay, well, you think about it. I'm going to probably roll into the Ian Harrison interview.
Okay, go ahead.
And we can come back to that if you want. All right, guys. So we're going to mute the mics. We're going to play the Ian Harrison interview. Hope you guys enjoy. Our next guest of the night is brought to you by Guts Racing. Grip, control, and confidence. Elevate your ride with Guts Racing seat covers. Trusted by top pros and everyday riders alike. Designed for maximum traction and durability, Guts seat covers keep you locked in when the track gets rough and the stakes get high. They're built to last and made to win. Ride with Guts because comfort and control aren't optional. GutsRacing.com to order and let them know the MotoXpod sent you. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us the team manager for Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, Mr. Ian Harrison. How's it going, Ian?
Good. Thank you.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you doing this. It's the first time you've been on our show. We've been doing this for 10 years, and I finally got you on.
Yeah, it's been a while, huh?
It has been. And, when I first asked you, I got the vibe that you don't necessarily love doing these. You kind of looked at me like, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, no, it's for me, sometimes it just feels like I'm repeating the same stuff, so it feels a little weird, but yeah, no, I'm happy to be here, and let's see where this takes us today.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to some questions you've probably answered recently, but I want to start this thing off, especially since it's your first time on here, with just going back, way back in the day when you were racing in South Africa or you started wrenching for Albi. Could you have ever foreseen where your career would take you?
No, I mean, I literally dreamed about it when I was a little kid back home, and my racing career was literally in the early 80s, and so my heroes were the American riders, Jeff Wood, Ricky Johnson, and David Bailey, and all those guys, and I used to think, how am I ever going to get there? And it's pretty crazy to think where my journey's gone from South Africa to Europe to here, and then just being in the right place at the right time with people that really helped me along the way, and so it's incredible. I really would have never imagined it, but I'm so grateful that I'm here today.
Yeah, it's hard for me because I've lived in the United States my whole life, right? And the sport was fairly accessible. You could go to a Supercross, and when I first got into it in the 80s or 90s. But yeah, when you're living in South Africa, how accessible was it? Was it Cycle News? How did you find out about it? How did you keep up with the American riders?
Basically, we had like a big magazine store in the 80s, and it was called the CNA. And I used to go in there and then read the magazines, which would be one that just comes to mind right now is Motocross Action. But literally, I would be 6 months to 9 months behind because they would do the magazine. The magazine would get out here, and by the time it made it down there, I was at least a half a year behind. But it didn't bother me. I just loved looking at all the cool pictures and the rider gear and everything, and just there were just so many cool aspects about racing back then and the factory bikes and everything. It really intrigued me.
Yeah, kids today have no idea about having to wait. Even here in the 90s to watch Supercross, it might be a week or 2 weeks, and it was on at like 1 a.m. on ESPN2, and it was just a couple highlights here and there, and maybe the 250 main event, and that's all we got.
Yeah, and then if you look at those videos today, they are so grainy, it's crazy. You can barely make out who's who.
Yeah.
So I only watched a few of them, as a kid growing up, and man, I just wanted to be a part of it so much. And then I actually had a little bit more access to the European races and videos and stuff you could buy. They would have like these cassette tapes of the the series in the 500s or the 250 or 125 or whatever. So yeah, it was cool to watch those. But I always loved motorcycles. I loved being around them. I loved racing them when I was a kid. And yeah, my mission was always to make it to America. And I was just lucky enough, and especially with my good friend Greg and him being successful in Europe and literally being the person who got me to the States. Yeah, I'm so grateful for him. Yeah.
Was it ever a difficult, I don't know if decision is the right word, but to step away from racing yourself to become a mechanic? Did you kind of wish that, obviously I'm sure you did wish that it was you that was doing the racing?
Yeah, no, I loved racing, but I was a better practicer than a racer. and I always loved like the mechanics of the bike. It never bothered me, even at a young age, to wash my bike, change the filters, change tires. That was also part of the enjoyment. But it was a pretty easy decision, because when I finished school, my dad said to me, all right, if you want to race, it's on you. So that was the end of my racing career. And so I got a job and I did an apprenticeship, which is pretty common in South Africa. And my apprenticeship was actually to become a diesel mechanic for heavy equipment. I thought that would be a good way for me to make a living. And even as a young kid, my mom used to panic, because if anything broke, I always wanted to take it apart. It always fascinated me how things worked. And there was a 50-50 shot that it would go back together or it never went back together. Yeah. So things always intrigued me on how they work. And I think that's what, I love that part of it too. So it was cool to be at the races and to be a part of it, but in a different aspect, and being with Greg as a friend and being in Europe and learning all those things at a young age. I was definitely in the deep end there, but I always just wanted to do my best and try to learn as much as I could and be around people that could, that had more experience and more knowledge than I did to learn off them. And that seemed to work in my favor.
Yeah, I would say so. I think it all worked out really well. So with your history in the sport, I feel like you're a good person to ask this. We've talked about it on the show before, and I've heard Steve Mathis talk about it. And, the tracks are real cookie cutter now. You kind of know, the guys figure out the rhythms right away. The tracks are very similar. It's maybe move this obstacle to this position, but it's kind of all the same to some degree. I would like to see us go back to making tracks like 93, where you just really never knew what you were going to get. They were completely different. Sometimes they're peaky. I don't think that would work so much with the 450s, but I would just like to see something very, very different from what we get every once in a while.
Yeah, I see your point there. And I don't know if you remember back, actually, I think it was 2009, one of the Anaheims was very, very different. I think I remember Chad Reed winning.
Oh, yeah.
And then I also remember that one year Travis Pastrana did the race at St. Louis, I want to say.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That one was also quite different. But it is tough to come up with different ideas when you have to make, now there's basically 20 of these Supercross tracks per year, because you have the 17 Supercrosses, the 3 SMX rounds. Mm-hmm. So, every year you're trying to come up with a different concept, different idea. It's really tough to figure out different rhythm lanes. And we say that they all do it, but the motorcycles are so good today that, if
if one guy can jump it out of the corner, they basically all know they can, and there's very, very seldom where there's only a handful of people that are doing a specific rhythm. And I remember one of them being at the SMX round we had in Los Angeles, where they came down the hill, and I think Jet was the first one that tripled onto the top of a tabletop. Was really fast, and only a few of them did that because they started doing it during the race. But for the most part, it's they're very close, and you can even see how good the 250s are today. They can pretty much do the same rhythm. And then, so I suppose the biggest factor today is really the dirt that varies from stadium to stadium. That has the biggest challenge on setting up the bikes for the weekend.
Yeah, it does. I guess I'm just being the old man that it was better back in my day.
Yeah. No, I get it. But like, if you look, it was very hard to get a rhythm. Like, a lot of the jumps were not really made to be doubles or anything. They were more like a wall kind of a deal. And today they really are made for like big rhythm lanes, the speed, and the suspension can handle so much more. And if you put a wall somewhere like we've had in Daytona a few years past, you have James Stewart jumping over it, So like, that is true. It's hard to hold them back,
Very true. Back to your career just a little bit, the transition going to work with Roger DeCoster at Suzuki in the early days. What was that opportunity like for you to have a guy like Roger as your mentor and to teach? I'm sure he taught you an incredible amount.
Yeah. Again, I kind of got lucky with that one too. We were in Europe, and Greg actually was talking to Honda, and there was kind of nothing was signed or sealed yet, but there was it looked like that was the transition he could make. And at the last minute, it all fell through, and he actually had to stay in Europe one more year. He ended up staying with Suzuki, and then in that whole Suzuki negotiation, he told them, "Hey, I want to go to America." So it was linked to an American deal, and in that, Roger. Suzuki made the call to Roger to get him back on board, and then we kind of landed there together at the same time. And I still remember clearly, I flew from Belgium to LAX. I had my toolbox with me and a backpack and my bag of clothes, and Roger picked us up from the airport and took us to the Best Western. So and that was our journey together. And then at that time, Suzuki didn't have a race shop or anything, and most of the riders were living in other states. Mechanics were also living in other states. So I was based in California because that's where Greg rented a home. So I ended up going testing with Roger quite regularly, and we didn't have a test crew or anything at that time. And I was keen because I wanted to learn and know. And like, our relationship built quite quickly, actually, and then it just went from there. And so I started as a mechanic, and then after a few years, I moved into doing a lot of the R&D work for the race team, and I was a welder and stuff like that. So I could always weld skid plate mounts and a couple of other things on the frames. And then I moved into working with Mitch at Pro Circuit when we linked that part of it to try to get the bikes better. And then I was able to be there often and do a lot of the testing and dyno work and everything. And then a few years after that, we moved with Yoshimura, and then I started doing a lot of the engine work on my own. And so that was just my transition, and just and Roger always encouraged me in every avenue I took to, he would always say, "Hey, I think this would be a good move for you." And all the way up till eventually when he said, "Hey, it's maybe time for you to, be the team manager." So, yeah, I've been all the way from the bottom basically, and just kind of cruised all the way through, more or less like Lars Lindstrom too.
Yeah, so, actually, good point.
Yeah.
When you look at your career, it really is like this perfect. It seems to be perfect blueprint for success. The riders you had the opportunity to work with, the mentors you had the opportunity to work with. And just even like with Roger, when he decided to go to KTM, my understanding is he said, "I'm not doing it without Ian." Just to have those people in your corner is not, most people don't have that many opportunities and just the right people all the time. Very, very impressive.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because I'm in my 50s now, but I've worked with Roger has been my boss for over 32 years. So it's like nearly my entire life, Yeah. And then before Roger, I had the privilege of also working with Sylvain Geboers, who was amazing, and then the late Jan de Groot, who was the Honda boss that we worked with in Holland that Greg won his first 2 world titles with. So yeah, just an amazing journey. Yeah.
When the opportunity came to go to KTM with Roger, KTM had yet to have very much success, if any at all. How concerned were you, or did you fully believe that you and Roger could make that, turn KTM into what it is?
Yeah. That's like an open-ended question.
I know.
Because Pit Byra, who is running KTM off-road racing in Europe, we raced against him in the 90s when I was there with Greg, and he was German champion. He was racing the 125 World Championship with us, and we were friends, because we used to travel all over the world. At that time, we still went to Venezuela and Guatemala and Japan and all these places. So we were often in quite a tight group when we traveled, and so I knew him, and then now he was running KTM. So in the 90s, he would actually fly from Europe down to South Africa and practice in South Africa in the winter because it was summer in the Southern Hemisphere. So he came down a few times. I even helped him take his bikes out the crate, and and he actually stayed at Greg's house. So I knew of him, and then Roger came to me. It was in 2010. We had an amazing season. Ryan Dungey was a rookie and ended up winning the Supercross series. But I could tell that Suzuki were definitely pulling back. That was, we were about the second year into the recession there, and they were very conservative. And Roger's contract was coming to an end, and I think he had gone to see them a few times about extending it, and there wasn't much movement. And then all of a sudden this KTM opportunity came about, but I knew nothing of it. And then one day Roger said to me, "Hey, I want you to come to my house, bring your wife, we're going to have dinner, and I want to talk to you about something." And I thought, that's pretty weird, So I said, "Why don't you just talk to me here at the office?" And he said, "No, it's not about Suzuki, so it's not right for me to talk with you about that subject here." So, okay, no problem. So anyway, I went to his home, and we then, and he's kind of just, he's just circling the bush. I'm like, what the heck's going? And eventually he says to me, "Hey, I want to go to KTM." And I literally looked at him and I went, "Rog, there's Honda, Yamaha, everything. You want to go to KTM?" I said, "They have never won anything. Like, we don't even think about them out there,
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I've met with Pitt, and he says that they are going to invest and they're going to push now while everyone's kind of being a little bit more conservative. They feel like this is their time to go." And so I was like, "Are you sure about this?" Anyway, we went back and forth a little bit, and he told me yes. So I said, "Okay, well, if you do it, I'll do it." And then the very next day, Pitt called me, and he started saying to me, "Hey, you got to commit." And I'm such a flippin' pushover, so I told him, I said to him, "Okay, yeah, I'll do it," and then. So now we had to start motocross, and then it went dead quiet. Like, I'm not hearing anything from Roger, and I'm just thinking, "Oh, flip, what?" Like, I've committed to this guy, so I'm going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe he's going to leave me high and dry, But eventually after a while, we went over, and it was a massive task, because even when we had come to Suzuki in the beginning, it took a lot of work to get Suzuki back up and running again. They didn't have a race shop in the beginning, and we'd worked to get all of that like in place, and it was a really nice place, and we were winning, and it felt like we were starting from scratch again. But the second time around, you just know a lot more, and you can cut off a lot of the things that just that are not really going to speed anything up or waste your time. And so it moved pretty quick, and we had a huge commitment from KTM. They honored everything they said they would do, and it was just amazing to be a part of the progress at that time and see them build bikes, and in the time frame they did, and going over there and being a part of all of it. It was something I will most probably never get to experience again in my lifetime. So it was, it was really cool.
Yeah, it was a very cool story for the sport, no doubt. Ian Harrison tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Okay, let's get into a few current things, and I won't keep you too long. Right now, 2026, this current team you have with Eli Tomac joining and Jorge Prado, and of course the fan favorite Aaron Plessinger. This is one of those questions you have talked about, but just the enjoyment you must be having this season. It seems so evident when you walk over to the truck and you see the team race day, post-race. It's just a really nice vibe.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have said that better. It really is, and the group of guys we have now, the way they treat their mechanics, the team, the way they approach race day and practice and testing. I mean, they're just true professionals, and it's so cool to be around people like that, because you can see the results. They speak for themselves, and it's really, really been a cool off season and a start to this season, and way more than I ever expected. I thought Jorge Prado coming in this year would be, it would be a learning year for him. I honestly thought like top 10s would be great, and I would take a top 5 as a win. But these qualifying first and winning heat races and stuff is way past what we expected. But saying that, seeing all the work he put in from the end of October to the end of December, there's a reason why he's like that. He did so many laps and just working on his technique and his ability and taking accountability for when things weren't quite right, and not, sidestepping and saying, hey, it's this or that or the next thing. You could just see the progress week in and week out. So I thought he was going to be good, but not this good. And then with Aaron, he had a very challenging end of last season, getting sick, and it taking a long time for us to figure out what it was. And in the end, he did get to it, and he was off the bike for a long time. But then when he got back on and got going, that also looked so promising, because he had been off for so long. So to start up, it's like rebuilding, and not your riding technique, but just your riding hours. And that quickly came up, and he got up to speed, and we got these new components for our bikes, for the forks and the shock that WP worked on, which was another fun project that we did through the middle half of 25. So that was nice to see what we discussed and saw in drawings, and then prototypes, and then actually on the track working. It's really cool to see that trajectory of stuff, and then Aaron made his progress. And now once we got into the races, it is difficult. Everyone lined up there. Each factory team have 2 or 3 riders. Every one of them wants to be on the podium. Every one of them wants to be in the top 5, and there's just literally too many of them to fit in there. So he's been a little bit on the back end of that, 7 or 8. He had a couple of bad races, but I feel like we are close to finding something that's going to help him with the balance. He's very sensitive to the balance of his bike, but we're very close. It's not like he doesn't like the handling, but it's a position sensitive thing he's looking for. And a lot of these things you really come to grips with in the race, because they try a little harder. The tracks generally have a little bit more traction than what we've had at our test track. So these things show up from time to time. But I'm happy with him too. And then Eli is flip. It's like it's I always wondered. I always wondered about this guy because he's quiet, he's reserved, you don't know much about them, but freaking he's been a pain in our side for like 15 years, and you're always like, dang, this guy, he's always here, he's always good, and you wonder what makes him tick or what is it, but it's just that simple thing, work ethic and no excuses and, riding hard and giving it his best, and freaking that's simple stuff pays the bills, Yeah, it's really good.
So with all that being said, I'm going to ask a little bit of a question that maybe you don't want to answer, but we talked about the difficulties of the decision to go to KTM and whether it was going to work. Well, once you knew Chase X and Tom Vial were leaving, there aren't that many riders that were available at the level of a factory KTM rider. So you have to look at a guy that is 33 years old. Yes, he's won a lot of races. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. But can he continue to do it? Can he switch manufacturers and still do it? And then Jorge Prado, 6-time world champion, but had a very rough 2025. So when you're making those decisions, I don't know if those guys look like the perfect decisions to hire, but you're limited. So I don't know. Was there any concern, any doubt of will this work?
Yeah, I'll start with Eli. So once we knew that Chase was going to move on, and you find out this stuff pretty soon. You don't know for sure, but you can see the movement, and there's a clause in their contract that says when they can start negotiating, and you have the first 30 days and you try everything you can. And we were in a tough spot with where the company was at the moment, and anyway, so once I knew that, hey, this is not looking too promising, honestly, for me, it was an easy choice to look at Eli. A lot of the other guys were still signed up, and on top of that, Eli is the second most winningest rider in our sport, and we knew that he was a tough competitor, but I knew he was a lot older. Mm-hmm. And I know when the majority of the championships have been won, I mean, I most of the championships in Supercross and motocross, well, there's been 56 years of Supercross now, or 54, sorry, and 52 of them are with guys that are 27 years and younger. So there's only 2 at 29, and that's Eli and Cooper Webb. So anyway, I reached out to him right away, and he was really straightforward with us and said, I'm gonna look at everything, I'm gonna try everything. So we're like, okay, good, and so we started to prepare, and I knew that, hey, I need to have all my ducks in a row here. I need to be able to give him a clutch he likes, and those were all things we worked on, so that when we went there, we could show him that we were not messing around. We were ready there to give it our best shot, which we did when we tested, and then I think he tested pretty much a couple other brands too, and in the end, when he said, hey, let's do a deal, I knew that the bike must be good, because when you struggle with guys, it's pretty quick that you start doubting, and start second guessing things, and that's a slippery slope to be on, because you can make some poor decisions and really make something that was quite good, quite bad quickly. So so that was cool, and then on the Prado side, that decision was pretty easy, because we have Robert Jonas. He's the vice president of off-road racing in Austria, and he hired Prado when he was a young kid. And he told me all he told me over and over again, I believe in Jorge. I believe this guy is going to do it. I believe he can be good in Supercross. He has that ability. I've seen him as a young kid move from Spain to Belgium and then, adapt for the sand. And so he was really, he really turned the tide for me. He can do it. And then I also saw Jorge when he came here with TLD on his 250F, and he pretty much could get around the Supercross track, no problem back then. Then he came back on the gas bike, and even then he won a heat race, I believe, in the mud in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like he couldn't do anything. So then we were like, okay. And the nice thing about Jorge is he really wanted to come back, so we told him we want nothing to do with getting out of a contract or that is completely up to you. Once you sort all of that out and it's finished, then you can get out of it clean, then yes, we can give you a ride. Well, and that's how that one came about.
Yeah, and it really has been a bit of a surprise to some of us. After last year, we didn't expect him to do what he's done so far this season. Unfortunately, obviously, he had a little injury, but yeah, he's also been very impressive this season. Okay, I've got two more for you. This one, why is it so difficult for teams, team manager in your position, to be fully transparent with the media, whether it be injuries or issues with bikes? From other sports, it seems like they're pretty open about, yep, this guy has an injury, or yep, we're having problems with this portion of the bike. And you guys do give us some things, but it's not full transparency.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough question. One of the reasons is the bikes we race today are predominantly a production bike. Mm-hmm. So we even though the races we put on them are what they put in that bike through is 10, 20 times more stress than what the general public can put on it. But if you have an issue, you've got to be careful that you don't make people who have this bike panic about something that they're never going to encounter.
Right.
So you got to be careful at that in that aspect. And then also, this is a product we sell. If you're in Formula One and the guy talks about the car being bad or whatever, no one's ever going to buy that car or drive it or see it or nothing. It doesn't really mean anything to the people out there. But if that was a Ford Mustang that's being raced and someone's talking about, they're selling that car. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work in their favor, and we always got to remember that Supercross and motocross, the amount of revenue you're bringing from the sponsors is not paying the entire bill. The company has to pay the bill, and the way we get that money to pay these riders and pay our teams and keep this racing on going is by selling product. So we have to that's marketing, and we got to be careful on that side of things too. And then on the rider side, these riders are generally very young, normally when you work with them, and they're developing. And it's such a fine line to try to navigate to keep them on on a path that is going to lead to success. So you're always trying to motivate them, and you don't want to just be too hard on them. But at the same time, we also have to remember that these guys are supposed to be marketing our brand, and if they're not doing that, we should be more vocal.
Yeah,
because that's what it all boils down to at the end of the day. And a lot of these riders. These top riders today make a lot of money. You have to sell a lot of motorcycles to pay for these guys,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep. All right. I think that was a really good answer, and I appreciate that. All right. Last one is a listener question. I posted an opportunity for some of our listeners to send some questions in today. And from my Instagram, Posty25 said, He wants to know, what's the gnarliest Albie story you have? So maybe just a good story. Anything stand out when you think about Greg Albertine stories? A lot.
There's a couple. Yeah. There's definitely a couple, but one that really stands out to me was in, I think it was 1993, and we were in Sweden, and it was raining cats and dogs, and we thought, hey, for sure they're going to cancel this race. I mean, it was crazy amounts of rain. So, we went out to do, I can't remember, I think you had to complete one lap to basically qualify for the GP. In the first time session, and then we thought we'll just do that so that if they cancel it, at least we in.
Yeah.
And then the second time session, the thing was still going anyway. So Greg went out there to do a lap, and his second or third lap, he came down this long straight, and there was a huge rock in the ground, and literally his bike just stopped dead and he hit the handlebar so hard with his thighs that he snapped both sides of the bars off.
Oh,
because I remember I walked down there to get the bike, and I go to pick it up, and I tell you, you try to pick up a bike in the mud where both sides of the handlebars are snapped off.
Yeah.
That is no easy task. So finally, I get the thing back, and anyway, they did end up. A lot of the guys actually didn't race that race. I think just the locals raced it the next day because it was so gnarly. And but the next day, Greg's entire groin was like literally purple and black. I mean, it was crazy. And the following week we raced in Finland, and then I think he won the title.
Of course he did.
but it was crazy, insane.
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
Well, Ian, thank you so much for your time. This has been a pleasure. I hope you didn't have to answer too many questions that you do regularly, but this was a lot of fun for me.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, Jamie. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have a good night, and good luck in Daytona this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye. All right, that is Ian Harrison. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. That was a lot of fun for me. I think it was just some things I'd never really heard from Ian in a long time. So, good to hear him come on the show for the first time. Hope you guys liked it. That pre-recorded Ian Harrison interview. Scotty, so there's a couple topics that I'm going to save for next week when we have TJ back.
Okay.
Do you feel like I should tell that story about what happened to me on the way home from Arlington? Or just...
I mean, maybe like a synopsis, yeah, because it's pretty crazy.
Okay, so
do you want me to make it the ETS story time?
We could do that because, I'm not going to do a pick one. Do you have ETS in front of you?
Yep. ETS Racing Fuels was forged from the heat of competition nearly 30 years ago, developing purpose-engineered fuel for high-profile teams and highly competitive series. We have been the power behind many podium wins ever since. Teams using ETS Racing Fuels have won more than I'm struggling tonight. More than 50 national and world champion titles, and we continue to forge new alliances and partnerships across motorsport. Visit etsracingfuels.com to get yours.
To find a local distributor. Okay, so, instead of a pick one or a Turds Take, we'll just do a quick little story. I don't know how quick it's going to be, but leaving Arlington, I left pretty late. I take Chase to his mom's house. Then I pulled over at a gas station. I edited the post-race interviews and got them uploading and all that stuff. So by the time I hit Tyler, Texas, which was 30 minutes from my house, 45 minutes from my house, it was like 1:30, 1:45. It was about 1:45 in the morning. There was a car in front of me, and I was struggling. I was pretty tired, so I don't know how focused I was. But she ended up running into either the back of a motorcycle on the interstate or a motorcycle that was already down. I don't know. I cannot say definitively
and
what
they
happened.
Never found out?
I've never heard anything. But she smashed into this motorcycle. Her car went airborne, and she shot left into the center median or whatever you want to call it, the grassy area.
Mm-hmm.
And again, 1:45 in the morning, there was no other cars around. So I slowed down, made sure I didn't run into anything, pulled off, got out, checked on her. She's in full panic. I was like, just stay in the car. and I start walking back towards the interstate, and I've got my flashlight, and I'm trying to see. First thing I see behind her car is a helmet. Thank God there's no head in it. So I'm looking at it on this shade, but it's pitch black. I can't see anything. I can see shapes of things all over the place. Motorcycle parts turned out to be body parts. 18-wheelers coming towards us, and I'm flashing. I got the emergency strobe going, like, slow down. Dude, never slow down. And I start backing away fast because I know he's about to hit the motorcycle. Don't know where it's going to go. And he hits the bike, hits whatever else is in the area, and drags things down the interstate a ways. And I ended up being on site for another couple hours. I was there till almost 4 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Officer showed up. I called 911, told him what had happened. I said, there's for sure been a fatality. You need to get somebody here. Cop shows up within minutes. She starts trying to secure the area. And, like, she can't see anything. We can't find, like, the remains.
Right.
And I start walking back. She's like, will you just go stand by the girl and try to keep her calm? So I go back, and as I'm going back, I see a big lump in the interstate. I'm like, oh, that's a body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, right here. And then I just go start talking to the girl and try to keep her focused away from the
fact that she
crap. And talk to her for a while. And then another officer comes after a while and kind of like asks me what I saw. He says, okay, there'll probably be an investigator here in a little bit. If you need to go. I got your number. I was like, well, I can hang out for a bit. And it was cold. So I got back in the truck. Her sister, she called her sister who lived a little ways away, and her sister came out and sat with her. I got in my truck, and I actually fell asleep for like an hour.
Oh, wow.
And then I woke up, and I get out, and they're still doing, marking things off and whatever. I'm like, hey, is this dude ever going to show up? Do I need to still be here? And he said, oh, the investigator never talked to you? Nope.
Yeah.
He's like, hang on. He calls the investigator. The guy says he doesn't need to talk to me right then. I guess he had already been there, apparently.
Oh, shit. And
he's like, yeah, you can go ahead and go. So I left and went home and I haven't heard another word. Never got a call. But it's
pretty traumatic.
It was a lot. Like, I saw what looked like a hand on the other side of the interstate, and they were put a sheet over that, and a lot of sheets were put out. A lot of pieces. And I feel like the 18-wheeler did most of the damage. I mean, I don't think the dude was alive, period.
No.
And again, I don't know if she ran to the back. I don't remember, as we were driving down the interstate, I remember seeing her in front of me. I don't remember seeing like, oh, there's a motorcycle up ahead.
I feel like you would have noticed that.
But I was so tired, dude.
Like, he could have probably already
I should not have been driving home. It could have been me that hit whatever got hit.
It could have already been down. He had to have been.
I just don't know. That's what I said at first. I said, I think he might have already been down. But
if she just all of a sudden just airbornes, that's a down
I don't
bike.
think she did. Like, that's so within, say, maybe an hour of me like thinking about it, that while I'm waiting, like, no, I feel like she hit something and it kind of exploded. Like, she ran into the back. And this was like a touring bike that had all the big plastic boxes on the sides, on the back. But then that might just be my mind playing tricks on me because I wasn't aware enough. But it really did make me think, one, I don't need to drive home after these events like that. I'm just too tired. Two, I need a dash cam.
Yeah.
That would have told you a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine that here pretty soon, like, you're going to it's probably going to start as mandatory, or not mandatory, but like you'll get a big discount on insurance if you have one. Or
cars will start coming with them eventually.
They'll come with them, or they'll just be mandatory to have insurance. Like, in order to have insurance, you have to have.
Yeah. But it was like, I don't feel like traumatized by it. It was pretty gross what I saw, and I didn't even see details. I saw shapes.
It was like
dark.
at night, and you couldn't really.
Yeah. But it's still like, man, I always think when I hear about somebody passing away, it's like, man, their family. And you start thinking about that dude's never, whatever.
Yeah.
Life's over, just all those things. And you're just sad
tough, man.
for people.
Life's fragile.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
Where on, you said it was like
you know where the Target warehouse is right before the Ville?
Right there.
That was like, we were side by side with that. Like, I could see the
wow.
Yeah, so it was right there.
Yeah.
That exit is
right before
564 or whatever. It was like, I could see the exit.
We've been over this. That means nothing to me.
Okay.
The one, Harvey Road, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I could see, that's what I told him. I said, hey, I was like, I called him. I said, we are eastbound I-20, just east of 564, whatever the exit was. I could see the sign. So pretty rough night. I was
crazy.
supposed to. My plan was to get home by 2, go to work for a little bit Sunday morning, and then go ride. Man, I didn't get home till almost 5. By the time I got out of the shower, I slept for a couple hours, went to work, and then I didn't. Oh, we did do something. What did we do? I don't remember. I didn't go ride though. That's for sure. I rode Monday instead. Yeah. All right. Let's do these FXR picks for Daytona, and then next week we'll do some of these other topics I have. So, FXR is designed by racers for racers. With industry-leading fit, finish, and performance, progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. Used by Malcolm Stewart, Garrett Marshbanks, Mike Brown, Brock Tickle, Chris Kiefer, myself, and many more. FXR's core motor roots, so visit fxrracing.com or go to your local dealership to see the complete 2026 line. Shout out to one Brad Behrens, who is the rider rep for FXR, hooking us up, but also got to visit with Milt, the owner of FXR, for a little bit. We were talking about, I was asking if he was going to make a run at Loretta's again this year. He said no. He asked me if I was. I said yes. This will probably be my last time. He said, dude, let me know. I want to make you a custom set of gear for Loretta's.
What do they call it?
Sublimated?
Sublimated, yeah.
It'll probably be, but he wants to do like a one-off color scheme for me for Loretta's. Sick. How cool is that?
What would you do?
Well, he said he wants it to be Texas-based and something.
Oh, that's right.
So I'd have to do something with Texas, but maybe come up, I don't know yet, but we got to come up with something that would be really cool.
Do Pantera.
It's actually not a bad idea. Like a dime tribute.
Yeah.
His guitar.
And then when you're done with it, they can put it in the dime bag. You can get with Rita.
They go in the studio.
You could give like a glove or something to it.
But anyway, that was cool. All right, FXR picks for Daytona. I want to do 450 podium and 250 winner, 250 East winner, okay? But I also want to give a shout real quick. Brian Ehrman emailed his picks for Arlington. We don't get a lot of people doing that like I would like. We would do more contests if more people would do that. Also, join our Discord. There's that FXR Picks page or whatever. Go to MotoXpod.com. Check out all the articles going up. Follow our YouTube. Subscribe.
Were any of us close at all?
Well, you always do that, and I don't
yeah,
think so.
We should rehash them.
You know what? I don't have last week's because it's a new notebook.
Oh, what a shame.
Give me a second.
It's just nice to. It's just fun to go back over it.
You're right.
I mean, that's like, what's the point of picking if you're not going to rag on each other for how stupid you are?
It's more like if somebody were to get it right. So okay, I said Hammaker, Pierce Brown, Joe Shimoda. So a little off. I mean, I got Pierce and Joe in the right order. Evan Ambrosio said Cole Davies, Hammaker, Joe Shimoda. Chase said Davies, Hammaker, Swole. Scotty said Pierce Brown, Hammaker, Davies.
Yeah, I got the
winner, but I got Pierce and Joe in the right order. But other than that, we really weren't close.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Brian actually sent his picks in the week before too. I apologize for not realizing that you've done that 2 weeks in a row. So Brian, send me an email. And I'm going to get you a FXR casual setup.
Nice.
So yeah, send me an email and I have your email or I'll email you and we'll get you hooked up with FXR for getting involved because at this point, I guess that's all it takes is just get involved. You don't even have to be right. Okay. Daytona picks. Here's mine. Cooper Webb is going to win. Okay. He's finally going to get that Daytona win.
Okay.
Check this out. Since 2018, he has gone 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2.
Jesus.
He's getting that win this weekend. My guy Coop getting it done. Eli's going to be second. Hunter's going third. Joe Shimoda wins 250 East. What you got?
I'm going to go Eli for the win.
Okay.
King of Daytona. I'm going to go Coop for second.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Roxon in third.
All righty.
And then for my winner, I'm going to go Hammaker. I think I thought about Joe, but he's still getting back into shape, and Daytona's.
I just don't think Daytona's that much different than.
It's not going to. You think it's going to fatigue him? It's a longer race.
I don't think it's that.
Well, I guess it's not really. Well, I guess it's a little bit of a longer race because it's 20 plus 2. So like, but that 20+1, but that lap was longer, so it'll probably be like another 2
I don't think
minutes.
it's going to be that enough difference that it's going to make that much difference, and all these guys are still coming off injuries and not 100%.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I could be wrong.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Joe.
I'm going to pick Handmaker.
You know what? So let's do, if you guys want to get involved for next week's picks, if anybody sends me their podium, 450 podium and 250 East winner, if you get all 4 correct, we will get you a prize. It might be some X-Brand goggles.
So nobody's getting a prize.
You never know, man. You don't know if you don't play.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And Brian, send me a reminder email. I'll get you hooked up with a casual wear package for playing a couple weeks in a row, because at the end of the day, we really don't care that much if you guys get it right. We just want you to
participate.
Get involved, participate. We're about to sign off for the night. Go check out Start Your Systems on YouTube and watch the SX Simulator races. It's pretty cool. We were watching it during the Ian Harrison interview, and I really wish I could play this game, but
dude, you
would suck.
You need about like 10 years.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Joe Shimoda, I just about to say it wrong. Pat Gesualdo and Ian Harrison, great interviews. I was going to ask you which one was best, but you didn't get to hear. That's a pulp thing anyway, so we'll skip that. I want to thank Yamaha Motor USA, Race Tech, Guts Racing, X-Brand, T-Bolt USA, Renthal, Acherbys, Grill Your Ass Off, FXR, ETS, Racing Fuels, Brunt Workwear.
We had a chat say the podium pick. Hal said Dean Wilson's will get a podium at Daytona this weekend.
Okay, Hal. Hal. I love me some Dino too, but come on, Hal. Calm down. All right, guys, we're out. We'll see you next week. Nope, I'm on the wrong page.
Maybe so. We'll see you.
Yeah, I got to switch back away from the Ian Harrison things.
Oh.
Hang tight.
Did they hear any of this?
Yeah, just on the wrong notepad or soundboard.
All right, see ya.